Welcome, everyone. One second. My SSD is having issues. Or rather, my laptop's having issues with my SSD is probably the better way to put it. Hey, Camper Zone, how's it going? How is it going? Let me just sort this out. So we're gonna want to record this, I would think. Are you gonna watch party tomorrow's match, FPX versus TEC? Yes. Yes, I haven't had a chance to get a graphic going for my watch party schedule, but we will be watch partying tomorrow. Oh, why is this having issues reading my SSD? Icebox for Abyss is decent. I love Bind. I love Bind too, actually. Bind, I used to hate Bind. It's grown on me. Hey, what's up, Exco? Will you watch parties today's EMEA games? No, today I won't be. We'll kick things off again tomorrow, but I will watch tomorrow's EMEA games. Tomorrow I'm going to be watching all three regions. Tomorrow we're going to watch China, EMEA, and then right into Americas as well. Usashi, thank you. Appreciate it. Hope you're doing well as well. I would be doing better if my laptop didn't try to blow up my SSD. Chat, I'm gonna reboot the stream real quick. All right, I'll be right back. YouTube probably will just reconnect, but I will be right back. All right, hopefully we're gonna reconnect without issue. All right, hopefully let me double check. Okay. All right. YouTube's reconnected. Twitch is reconnected. Okay. Great. Smooth. My laptop's still blowing up. It's busy blowing up my SSD, but I don't know. We give up on that. Hopefully it'll record just fine. Before Valo talk, may I please get a bit of that Chobra blessing for my Herta pulls? I hope you never ever get Herta ever. even on her reruns. Is that how this works? I forget how this works. Is that how it used to work? Do you think Genji will be as good as last year? Hold on, what's going on with this music? Do I think Genji will be as good as last year? That's a tough question. I think they can reach similar peaks. I don't know if they would necessarily be as good. Well, okay, so I think they can be as good, just not in the same fashion. Let's put it that way. By the way, it was nice seeing you on Spike Talk. Thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, I didn't say much just because I obviously, like, EMEA is Insu's home ground. So once we were talking about EMEA stuff, I kind of let her just be the host of the show. And she had a lot more to offer anyway. And also, as somebody, I forget who it was, somebody noticed in the comments, they were like, Chobra fighting his urge to talk about how he's not going to be on the broadcast anymore. Because that was before I had announced it. So that was also part of it, where I was like, you know, like... Recently had a breakup. Your stream's helping me to heal up. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Mataru, but you'll come out stronger. You'll come out better, and I'm glad. I'm glad you can come hang out. Hey, Harry Kintama, what's up? Okay, I'm just gonna assume this is gonna be all right. Let me just try recording right now, see if it bugs out. Doesn't seem like it. What do you think about Soup and Jason? Yeah, we'll talk about it in a bit. We'll talk about it in a bit. Listen, I'm not listen, obviously I know Jake very well. He was on our stream last year to talk to you guys about VCT Pacific and the tech pause and what went wrong during kickoff and all of that. You know, personally, I generally like Jake. I'm not going to say I agree with every decision that he's ever made. Also, I mean, who knows how many of it is like his decision versus Riot's decision. So that aside, I do think he's getting too much of a target painted on his back, but also I think that partly comes with the territory because he is the head of, you know, all Valorant esports in APAC. So obviously, I think heavy is the crown, right? So. Yeah. All right, let me just make sure OBS doesn't freeze when I end it. Chat, give me 1 second. Let me... I think my OBS is trying to break my SSD. Chat. Okay, first of all, I mean, I appreciate all the support, and like, you guys aren't wrong, but like, there is a difference between obviously firing and not rehiring, and ever so slight difference. Oh my gosh, it is breaking. I wonder why. This is annoying. Oh, I just realized I was having problems recording the other day too. Oh, it's gotta be my USB port on my laptop then. Okay, I mean, listen, I'll just get it off of YouTube if I need to, I guess. We'll worry about that. We'll figure that out later. And also, what I can tell you is it's not like It's not like Jake walked up to me and I was like, by the way, I've personally made it my mission to make sure you're not casting VCT Pacific 2021. That is not what happened. All right, let's just make that very clear. That bit in the podcast where you and Frost are laughing about your placement of talent on your tier list. Dude, he gives me so much crap about that. He gives me so much crap about rating talent. You know what the worst part is he always gives me crap, and then he follows up with, I don't blame you though. And I'm like, you can't just call me out and then tell me that's literally TMV levels of what is this prediction, but I made the same prediction. Like, come on. You can't do that. That's messed up. Dude, YouTube's telling me it's not receiving enough video. Are you guys getting mad lag on YouTube? What? Dude, what is going on? I just, in case you're wondering, I just got home. I told you guys I had a lunch meeting yesterday. So I just got home because it's like an hour and a half away. And then originally I was actually contemplating maybe not streaming because I'm editing a video right now and I haven't been able to edit it. So I wanted to get that done. But then all this stuff with, you know, VCT SEA happened with Soup and DSG. So I was like, okay, we should talk about this. So I just like booted up the stream. No lag on YouTube. Okay. Yeah, I mean, listen, I mean, I'll be honest, does it kind of feel like I got fired? I mean, kind of, right? But technically speaking, different. A little bit different. Hey, Obito, what's up? Can you pronounce my name? I can try. Abhijit Sharma. Okay, chat. Let's calm down. Let's calm down about the Soup stuff. We're gonna talk about it. Just let me get my bearings. I get that we're all passionate about this. Okay, before we talk about get into things, because I have my opinions about this whole situation, and I think a lot of us are very misguided. Let me turn the music off. So I have actually let's leave it on like actually let's put lo-fi on because I don't want lyrics because that just bothers me. Okay. You pronounce it better than many Americans. Well, I'm American too, so go America. I don't know if I believe in that, but is Soup Soup is better than Soup? I mean, that I might be able to agree with. Okay. What was I gonna say? All right, so okay, so where was I? Right. So, I think a lot of us are kind of misguided. I actually think probably 95% of us are misguided. Doesn't mean that you can't come to the same conclusion, but I think we're kind of misguided when it comes to this whole Soup situation with SEA, right? Okay, actually, now I remembered what I was going to do. I was going to update my watch party command so that it tells you that we actually are going to watch party tomorrow, but not today. So let me do that real quick. Actually, it already says that, so never mind. We're good. I'm on top of things for once. Isn't that refreshing? Okay, do you think you'll ever move back to the States? I mean, you know, I'm open to the idea, but I'm not like, man, I really wish I had a opportunity to move back to the States. I don't necessarily feel that way. If anything, we've kind of flipped. I think my
freedom
wife is
from
probably
assent
more
is
wanting
but
to
an illusion.
Go freedom from assent is. Yo, yes, so thank you for The 58 months. I can't believe it. You're crazy. Tier 1 resub. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. What's the Plat Chat Pick'em group code? I believe you have to be a member on YouTube, and that's how you get the group code. You have to subscribe to their membership on YouTube. Okay. All right. I think we're somewhat ready to talk about all this. Maybe. I think. Possibly. Okay, so. All right. Let's talk. We'll talk about the map rotation in a little bit. Personally, as an Ascent enjoyer, I'm not as upset as you guys. I'm just gonna let you know, I'm not as upset at you guys when it comes to Ascent. But obviously, the bigger news is that it's 2 maps per rotation, which is crazy. But anyway, let's talk about that later. Let's talk about Soup first. Let's talk about Soup and VCT SEA and Tier 2 and what's really going on here. Okay, so for this all became big news because we just found out, disguised as suddenly, not in challengers anymore. They dropped their team, and their team is frantically scrambling for a team. So Disguised Toast apparently made a further post. I assume this is in his Discord. So he kind of laid it out. And he basically gives context. And I think he does a pretty good job of laying it all out as best as he can, right? Without getting into all the detail. I mean, it's actually, this is as transparent as you can get. So he talks about how it's not necessarily financially viable, but he wanted to commit to 1 more year because he wanted to give 1 more shot and he really liked the team, etc., etc. Split 3 games are streamed on Soup. Soup has an exclusivity clause, so you couldn't do it. And you'd have to only just do a face cam on Twitch and not really viable, which I agree with, right? If it's like a one-off, you know, maybe you just live with it and you get by, especially with a following like Disguised, right? If it's like, say, like the SVL, right? Maybe you live with that, but it's like a whole league, like that, or a whole tournament that your team is in. It's not really, like, it's not something you can rely on, right? Like that, and that cuts it to, you know, other content that he would be doing, etc. So I get it from his point of view. I think that's a fair take. And then he goes ahead and admits that this is where we screwed up, and he was under the impression that this would be just for Split 3, and things would be different in Split 1. And Soup was a Korean website. Even the Korean games were on Twitch, so it still might have been possible to work something out. Okay, so we've got some. This is already where we have a lot of mistakes, right? And this isn't just Disguised Toast, by the way. First of all, no Korean games are actually on Twitch anymore. Just so we're clear. Challengers Korea is not on Twitch anymore, right? No official Korean league that has a Korean-only broadcast is on Twitch anymore, just so we're very clear. Are they on multiple platforms? Yes. Yes, but we'll get back to this. We're going to get back to this. This is important, by the way. It's important to note that Challengers Korea is not exclusively on Soup, and there's a big reason why. There's a very big reason why. But anyway, so therefore he just kind of assumed, right, because it's a Korean website, that it might be possible to work something out. And the Twitch channel were the source of the most viewership in the SEA region last year. It wasn't until the beginning of this year, as he was planning things out, he was told he couldn't do that. And that was a very big part of his financial plans, which that all makes sense, right? So ultimately the blame lies with the communication within DSG. And I think he takes, you know, good responsibility here, because I would say that you can argue that the situation sucks no matter what, but obviously this situation, actually, yes, the responsibility does lie with DSG, right? Because in fact, so there's this post from a fan that talks about how they think this all happened, and they say, once they announced that it will be merged into SEA, Riot then announced the Split 1 of Challengers will be exclusively streamed on Soup, and at the time they only announced Split 1 will be on Soup. This is the reason Toast was still keeping DSG until now. And then some people agree, some people don't, and there was all this back and forth. And then in December, Riot announced that all of SEA Challengers broadcasts will be exclusively in Soup. I don't actually know if that second part is true. I think it was slightly earlier, because if you look up, what did I Google earlier? Soup exclusivity. There's an article on Valor to Asia that is in November. Oh. What are these pictures? That's from the Soup website. Okay, so this was on November 8th. And Valor to Asia reported that Soup will be continuing as exclusive streaming partner. So, like, I didn't bother to go back and check this part that initially Riot only announced Split 1. But first of all, that doesn't really excuse Disguised either. I'm not trying to throw Toast under the bus. I'm just trying to lay things out, right? I'm just trying to lay things out. But just so we're clear, this part might be true, and that's fine. But anyway, by November, we had already known that 2025, all of 2025, is going to be on Soup. So, like, right? Again, you can dislike that decision, but it's not like suddenly, like, Toast was, you know, they like hid it from Toast and it was hard to find. Like, you know, I mean, this is as easy as it can get to find. Let's be very honest. So, so that part, I think this is a little bit like, I get why this Orasama 99 is upset. I get it, but this is my problem with all of us going on the internet and saying things as if they're facts without actually fact checking, because this now ruins your argument elsewhere, because it's like, well, actually, it sounds like you didn't do your fact checking, because I think they did for the most part. But then going and saying, like, well, this is the only reason he kept the team. It's like, well, if this was decided in November, he would have actually known about this before. He could have known about this before Split 3, right? So it's like, well, actually, like, no, the responsibility for him still lies with him and DSG. It's just that you can now still argue that decision you don't like. So there's a, you know what I mean? You gotta make sure that you separate your facts a little bit to make sure that your argument is valid elsewhere. And then obviously, we find out, you know, more teams are leaving. I think it's for a number of reasons, not only Soup, but I'm sure that was part of it. Myth talks about leaving, and the CEO in his statement said that the challengers teams don't get any revenue. Okay, let's go back to DSG actually. So he says ultimately it lies with us. And again, I'm not trying to throw him under the bus, because I think Toast actually takes the responsibility pretty well. And he just wasn't quite aware of how much it would impact them, and he didn't, you know, they just didn't do due diligence. And whether or not to keep them for just a split while we try to convince Riot seems unlikely that they would be able to budge on this. So we made a difficult decision to drop them ahead of the split. No doubts they will go far, etc., etc. First of all, this sucks. This sucks. Like, it just, the situation sucks. You know, there's multiple people to blame and all sorts of situations, but the situation sucks. And I hope that they are able to find some form of support, because obviously this roster is actually pretty exciting. It's actually pretty exciting. So hopefully they will be able to land on their feet and actually focus on competing in Split 1 and throughout Challengers, because they've got some great players. Okay, now before we get to this post, which actually lays out a couple of things, people are wondering, okay, so what is Soup? All right. So, what is Soup? Let's talk about Soup. Okay, so Soup, right, is a streaming platform. So think of them kind of like, they're like Twitch. Okay, they're a streaming platform. That's really all they are, right? They're a website that you can stream on. And there's game streams, there's IRL streams, and all of that. It's basically the same. It accomplishes the same thing. Okay, that's what the platform itself is. So we got that out of the way. Now, here's what you need to understand. So I put out a tweet that said, okay, now everyone keeps saying that, wow, Riot's making money off of this exclusivity deal and nobody's seeing a dime of it. Well, that sucks. Riot is greedy AF, and they're just leaving teams to die while they make short-term money. Does anybody actually know if Riot's getting money from Soup? Because I'm actually willing to bet that they are not getting money from Soup. What I'm willing to bet is that Soup is just getting less money from Riot. That's what I'm willing to bet, because here's where everyone's going wrong, in my opinion. And I could be wrong, but that would be my bet without any information. So if anybody in chat has any sort of report or anything that they've seen that indicates that Soup was giving money to Riot for exclusivity, I'd love to see that. Now you could argue, well, if they're giving money or they're getting less money, doesn't that mean it's the same thing? And it's like, at the end of the day, maybe the net plus minus of money may be the same, but no, but I'm about to tell you something that I hope, if it doesn't blow your mind, then I don't know, everyone's going crazy, because here's the difference. This is very different from when, let's say, Twitch, or actually, you know what? Here's a great example that people oftentimes compare this to. Remember when Overwatch League and COD, right? And COD League, they all went to YouTube, right? And YouTube bought exclusivity, right? YouTube bought the media rights. It was like TV, right? It was like a channel buying the rights to cover the Olympics. Okay, are we all following along? Right? Certain channels, you bid, and sometimes if it's something like the Olympics, everyone's allowed to, but you still have to buy it. So, according to my Soup source, Soup is paying for 100%. Well, they're paying for league operations costs. My point is does the contract ever say that they're giving money to Riot for exclusivity, or are they just receiving less money? But Tammy, you're on, I mean, I would assume that you would know what I'm about to talk about. So this is when a media platform buys media rights. Someone else is running something. So in the case of OWL and CWL, it was back then, it was Blizzard, right? It was Activision / Blizzard. They were running the event, and YouTube shows up and they give money to Activision Blizzard, and they say, yo, we'd like to buy your product to put on our platform and keep away from Twitch. Okay? So we're all following along. Now here's the difference with VCT SEA. Soup is not just a media partner. As far as I know, Soup is actually the TO, the tournament organizer, because the way Tier 2 works in Valorant is that Riot hires people to run the tournament for them. It's why we have this mess of a challenger system with every region and sub-region having different formats and different calendars. This is why this happens, because everybody has a different partner. And here's where things should get clarified. You're talking about, well, Soup's a Korean company. Why isn't this happening in Korea? Because in Korea, until last year at the very least, I don't know 100%, but I think this year it's the same. It was actually WDG running Korea. Now, WDG is purely an event and tournament organizer company. Okay? They do not have a media platform. So they just bid for the chance to run this tournament. And so they run the tournament, right? They run the broadcast, but you know, they have no loyalty to any one platform or another. So they're going to send it out to Soup. They're going to send it out to Naver. They're going to send it out to YouTube. They're not going to send it out to Twitch because there's no English broadcast and there's no point in sending it out to Twitch. So this is where there's a big difference, okay? So this is where, because it's different from someone paying for the product that someone else is making versus, okay, now I have bid to be your employee right, and then to make that product for you. Now during this, presumably as Soup is bidding, right? Soup is like, yo, Riot, we want we'd like to run VCT Challengers SEA, or back in the day Thailand, right? And they say, okay, but hey, if you can't give us more money, or maybe they even say, you know what, we'll take a cut. And so Riot's like, all right, Riot's probably getting bids from like different people, right? I don't know all the people that run things in Southeast Asia, so I'm not going to make any comparisons, but other companies have bid, I'm sure. and Soup makes a bid, and Soup says, all right, here's a deal we can give you. Instead of giving us, you know, $2 signs, we'll actually just take $1 sign, right? So they say, okay, just give us one. Just give us one. But instead, we take this. Oh, that's not what I wanted. We take this, but also we get exclusivity. That's probably what's going on here. Okay? Now, again, you can argue, well, the net plus minus profit loss of money, isn't that the same thing as Soup buying it? You could argue that, but it implies something very different. The problem now becomes very different, because this would imply that Riot isn't trying to make more money off of this, that it would imply that they are trying to save as much money as possible, which is not a shock from everything we've seen, right? From everything we've seen when it comes to tier 2. And here's the other thing is, like, when you look at it from a purely business perspective, the philosophy of we want to save money on tier 2 is, you can't blame it. Obviously, there are better ways to go about it, in my opinion. I agree, but I'm just gonna put that out there as a disclaimer. So now they're just getting either less money, either they've said, like, we'll take less money, or maybe they just made a bid where they're like, hey, we can run this for cheaper, but we need to have exclusivity. Because then what Soup is thinking is that I am taking a loss in money, right? They're taking a loss in the money that they could potentially make from this. Because usually when this happens, by the way, how TOs make money or basically stay afloat is that they get the money from the client and then they just save as much as possible. So, like, everyone's just trying to save. Chat, if you've ever wondered why esports tournaments are such a mess, it's because literally nobody's actually making money. Everybody's just trying to save money. That's how you make money in the tournament organizing realm. Are there exceptions? Yes, but generally this is what happens. And you can take my word for it, because I've been in organizations that have been doing this in Korea and Europe and Americas, right? So, like, generally this is what happens. So you take a contract and you say, all right, we'll get, let's say you say, hey, we'll take $3 signs to run this tournament for you, Riot. Riot gives you $3 signs, and then you say, all right, we're gonna use, like, at most $1.50 signs on this product, and then we make money by saving $1.50 for ourselves into our pocket. Now here's, yeah, that's a very good question. Do they not make money from sponsors? Now that gets complicated, because some tournaments, the actual client brings in the sponsors and there's actually no revenue sharing with the TO. Sometimes it's half and half. Sometimes the TO is allowed to bring in their sponsors, things like that, right? So the sponsor thing is a different question, but also I'm just going to go ahead and say this on record. Most people that are working on business teams and sales teams that are getting sponsors for esports organizations, I don't, you know what? I don't even feel bad saying this. They suck at their job. I'm just going to say it. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's easy. It's not as easy as it seems, because we live in a world where, like, esports is blowing up, but then you compare that to the rest of the world and it's, like, still really small. And then you have, like, regional offices and all that, so it gets really complicated. I'm not saying it's easy, but, like, most people are not actually very good at getting good sponsorships. But that's a whole different thing. So, so are we all following along until this point? Do you understand how this works? Do you understand how TOs get contracts and either make money or run things? So, quick question. Riot paid less to Soup in exchange for Soup getting exclusivity. I'm assuming that is what happened. That is my take, because for a fact, I know for a fact that anyone who's running a tier 2 tournament is probably getting some sort of money, but probably not much from Riot, right? To begin with. So then the deal Soup can make would be, hey, we'll do it for cheaper. But won't Riot make save more if they sell streaming rights separately? Because most of the good league streaming rights are very expensive. Okay, so so there's a couple things here. How many leagues do we know that have been successful for more than 5 years at a top tier while selling exclusive streaming rights within esports, not sports? How many leagues can you name that do that? Because I'm not going to count Owl. That didn't go very well. Although I will say, you know what? Owl was the situation where when they launched, they had all these sponsors, and that's when I looked at it and I said, wow, the rest of esports really sucks at getting sponsors, because if they're able to sell this unknown product with inflated numbers to these giant brands, then everybody else is missing something. Obviously, now it didn't go very well in the long term for Owl, but that was an eye-opening experience. So you could say that, well, shouldn't they just sell it? But then the other thing, here's the other thing. So you think Twitch is gonna buy this? You think Twitch, who's trying to cut all the things that they have, who's trying to also save money, you think Twitch is gonna buy tier 2 Pacific Challengers Valorant? I don't think so. I'll be very honest, if I was Twitch, I wouldn't buy it, right? So like, no one's actually gonna, no platform is dying to buy any Challengers League, quite frankly. Right, because the other contingency there is like, it's a good league. And when we say good in a business sense, it means a very popular league. But then, you know, not only do you have to be popular, your platform has to have something they get out of that region. Now, I would argue that Twitch and YouTube probably do have something to get out of the SEA region, not Korea. But there's you have to look at it at a pretty objective viewpoint, right? So with all that considered, let's just clear up that first point. Riot probably, everyone's like, Riot's not giving any money they got from Soup to the teams. They probably don't actually have any money they got from Soup. They just have a couple more dimes that they saved, okay? That's one thing I just want to clear up. Now, I'm not saying that's good. It's actually a problem, but it points to a different problem than Riot's like anti-Robin Hooding the rest of the tier 2 teams. Okay? I'm not trying to say Riot's poor. Riot's probably not poor, just so we're very clear. But I'm just saying, it's not like they got extra money, okay? What about Kick? I'm sure they would be willing to pay for exclusive rights. Okay, let's say Kick is willing, and let's say Riot accepts it. Does that suddenly make it better than Soup having exclusivity? I mean, that's under the assumption that then all that money just gets funneled right into the teams as well, right? So yeah, like I don't know what you guys are arguing. Like you guys are trying to argue. Like, first of all, is everyone in my chat suddenly gonna go watch Kick if Kick was the exclusive partner for Challengers Valorant? Because like I wouldn't. I mean, hell, I'd watch. I'm watching Soup over Kick because at the very least within Korea, Soup's quality is pretty good. Just the website really sucks. It would also be a PR disaster, etc. But that aside. SEA uses Facebook, and here's the other thing, right? Is that obviously SEA, like every region has their own like preferred platform. So again, I don't think if I owned a platform, I'm not going in and being like, I want to buy the media rights to this thing that is for all of SEA, because my platform actually only benefits from like 3 out of the, I don't know, what are there, 7 or 8 things like that. Okay, so then you say, I can understand if they buy the KR one, but Southeast Asia? Okay, so now we're moving on. Now you guys are thinking. Okay, so here's what's happening. First of all, there's some very misinformed people on Reddit chat. I don't think I've ever been more disappointed by Reddit in the past year than this afternoon. Because there was someone in the comments saying, nobody watches Soup in Korea. And I'm like, boy, the problem is so many people watch Soup in Korea. That's the actual problem. It's not that nobody watches Soup in Korea. That's insane. In fact, within the esports community, a lot of people. So right now there's two competitors, right? So ever since Twitch died, so Twitch is dead in Korea. If anyone's been wondering, I'm streaming from Korea, but that's because I'm an American and I can make money on my American bank account. But I can't make money if you don't subscribe to this channel. So please consider subscribing to this channel. But aside from that, Twitch is now dead in Korea, right? So in Korea, Twitch is dead. So then what were the other options? So option number one is YouTube. YouTube has always existed. Okay. Option number two was Soup, back then known as Africa TV. And then option number three is a new challenger arrives. And I can't believe I'm writing this out. They were called Chizk. We're gonna say neighbor. We're gonna say neighbor. Yo, Jolly, can you delete that chat so I can put this on YouTube and not get flagged? Otherwise, I'm gonna have to purposely find your chat and block it out. Okay. So, in case anyone's wondering, it's chijijik in Korean, and chijijik is the sound of static, like on your TV, which already that nobody in Gen Z is gonna get that anyway, because no one's ever, churning their antenna on their TV anymore. But it's the sound that it makes. Bilibili's in China. Bilibili is not a Korean platform. Okay, so you had these three options, right? YouTube just, everyone uses YouTube in Korea as well, but YouTube Live just isn't great, right? Especially for gaming. It's just, it's just not great, right? Even in the West, we all agree on live, it's not great, right? So YouTube Live was not really a competitor. So then it looked like Soup was just going to be the de facto king, but Naver comes in, and Naver's Korea's, Google in terms of the search platform. Pretty big company. They're the main search platform, search engine. A lot of people use like Naver Mail. A lot of people use Naver to search things, and people are like, "Oh, Naver is gonna get into streaming. Ooh, this is promising." So Naver shows up. And they basically just straight up copy Twitch, and it looked promising in the beginning, but like the beta was kind of messy, and it's only 720p, and it just wasn't great, and they just didn't really seem to understand if they wanted to commit more like on the esports side of things or the gaming side of things. And during this whole time, all the people who used to stream on Twitch in Korea are like, okay, do we go to Soup or Naver? Like, no one's even talking about YouTube. They're like, do we go to Soup or Naver? I don't know where to go. And they basically get split. Some people go to Naver, some people go to Soup, some people decide this is the time to go to multi-streaming. So, they launch, and there was some fanfare in the beginning, but not too much fanfare. Okay. And I would argue that over time within esports titles, Soup actually invested hard into the esports side of things with things like, the AVL, partnering with LCK teams and players, right? Same with VCT teams. And so they're getting all these players and these events onto their platform. Whereas Naver's like, yo, here we are. And they're just kind of there. They have some partnerships with teams and such, but they seem to rely more on, the big individual streamers moving over to their platform, which some of the biggest ones are on Naver. So they exist there for sure. Give me 1 second. Okay. Oh, hey. All right. Oh. Okay. Before we get to this, Jakeson just responded to my tweet, but let's finish this conversation because let's just clarify things. Okay, so with that said, I would within the esports community in Korea, like among Koreans, it's like, oh, I guess Soup is now just going to be the de facto thing for esports. That's just kind of been the conversation that happens. Okay, so while just Naver exists, I cannot believe they thought this was okay, by the way. But while Naver exists, there's variety games and whatnot on it, but Soup is the kind of for esports people, that's where it is, for especially for Valorant. Like a lot of Valorant content creators, I think, felt kind of disappointed by Naver and the support that they got, is what I got from just conversations I picked up in passing. And so they've been moving over to Soup, right? So like Team IM partnered with Soup, and they started collabing with a lot of like Valorant streamers that were on Soup already, and things like that, right? If I'm not mistaken, Gen G is partnered with Soup, yeah? And things like that. Okay, so in Korea, Soup's doing all right. I mean, they always were doing all right in Korea, and Soup's doing okay in Korea. So why would they not bother with partnering and buying exclusivity in Korea? Well, probably because their platform's doing okay in Korea, right? So if you are at the very least tied for #1, right? Why would you ever take a pay cut to make people watch things more on your platform? There's just no point. I mean, people are already watching anyway, right? So there's no point in taking a cut and being like, hey, we'll make this for cheaper, because it's like, nah, people are gonna watch. But then you think about SEA, all right? Now Soup, maybe, you know, they want to expand to SEA. Obviously, I don't work for Soup, so I can't tell you like, what do they want to do in SEA? I mean, they probably just want to make money, chat, okay? Korea is a pretty small country. They probably see an opportunity. They probably want to make some money, which I think is very, very reasonable for a business. So, so they want to expand to SEA, but they don't have a strong audience in SEA as a whole, right? So now they're like, okay, how do we get people to watch on our platform? Okay, here it might be worth it to take a cut, right? So they lose money. But then they say, okay, if this means even we get like 100 more people onto our platform, that's a win. In all honesty, that's probably, like, the numbers are probably very low. The expectations are probably very low. Okay? Because this is what happened with AVL last year, obviously, or 2 years ago, I guess now. AVL 2023, you guys will remember because Sentinels won, right? And so therefore everybody in the world cared. So Sentinels wins AVL 23, but that's neither here nor there. AVL was exclusive on Africa TV, which is currently Soup, right? So, geez, I'm terrible at writing with a mouse. Now this was exclusive, and back then everyone cried too. Everyone was like, oh man, I have to watch this on Africa TV. Guess what? AVL 2023 smashed any type of esports viewership number, especially for Valorant, that Africa TV ever had. Like, ever. They weren't getting those numbers in Korea for the Korean broadcast. They weren't getting those numbers anywhere for Africa TV for Valorant. And it just absolutely smashes the numbers, right? Gets a ton of people to sign up because you can't watch at HD without signing up and downloading their plugin, etc., etc. So can you give the number? Let's see if we can find it. Actually, I hadn't had time to look this up, but you know what? That's a good idea. Let's see if we can find the numbers. Let's see. AVL 2023 Africa TV viewership. Let's take esports charts. Oh, this is all of it though, right? It doesn't show all of it. But, well, actually, but all of it would have been on Africa TV because that's the only place you can stream it. So it doesn't matter if it was a watch party on Africa TV or not. It was just smashing numbers that they had. Right? I mean, hey, that's pretty damn good for only being streamed on Africa. That's a comment here on the side. That's a response. So while yes, the numbers could have been even bigger if it was on multiple platforms, but Africa TV doesn't care about that, because here's what I want to get at, chat. Is one thing I want to get at is the fact that if Soup doesn't do this, if Soup doesn't go for exclusivity deals, then there is no SVL. SVL is donezo, right? Because nobody's making money off of running a tournament, chat. It all goes back to that. Nobody's actually making money off of running a tournament. You talk about sponsorships, etc. Like even the big, I mean, okay, I'm not going to talk about like worlds and stuff because that's a totally different thing, or champions. But you talk about just like the bigger leagues, you're probably staying afloat with sponsors if you have the biggest league. And you're not getting rich off of the league. Trust me when I say no one's getting rich off of running a tournament. You might make some profit at best, right? So then you say, well, then how does Riot do it? Okay, obviously I don't work for Riot. Definitely not now, JK. I don't work for Riot, but in my opinion, from the outside, and you can kind of piece this together from everything that Riot said, is that to Riot, esports isn't meant to make money. Esports is marketing. In fact, therefore, it's a money sink, right? In Riot's eyes, esports isn't there to make money. Worlds is not there to bring in the big bucks. Worlds is there to get you all hooked to want to play the game. It's to get people like all of us see Faker make a move like that and be like, oh, I do miss playing League, and log back in and then see the skins and then buy the skins. All right, like that's what Worlds is there for. Yes, it also celebrates the best players. Yes, it caters to a more hardcore fan, etc., etc., etc. But like they're not looking at like ticket sales on the seats and being like, oh baby, full house, we're making big bucks tonight. Like that's not happening. That's not happening at these tournaments, right? And at best, again, like Worlds, Champions, those might make some money off of the sponsorships, but that's not really where the actual money is coming from. So if Riot, if even Riot is not looking at esports to be the moneymaker, how in the world is someone like Soup or I don't know who else, who's running stuff now in America? I don't even know. You know, how in the world are they supposed to make money off of running a tournament? They can't. And who knows? Are they even allowed to look for sponsors? Maybe. But even if they are they even good at getting sponsors? Probably not, right? So no one's making money off of running the tournament. So in fact, getting exclusivity on things like SVL is good, chat. We can complain all we want about Soup. We should complain so Soup actually fixes their website, because it's bad. But outside of that, it's a smart idea, because now they can make money off of other things and continue to give us more esports things. Now, obviously, SVL is an off-season tournament, so it's a much easier pill to swallow. When it comes to the league itself, I agree, because this has bigger impact, right? Because now, when it comes to Challengers SEA, it's the entire, especially now that it's a conglomerate, right? It's the entire tier 2 of SEA. So there's much bigger impact, and it's all year long, right? So it's all year long, and I get it. It's a much bigger impact, and so. No, I'm not a Soup salesman. All I'm trying to say is we need to understand what the problem is before we complain about it. If all we're doing is complaining about the fact that Riot's taking money from Soup, which they aren't, Jason just confirmed that they aren't, which was my assumption. If we're just sitting here like Riot's just greedy and they're taking money for themselves, it's like that doesn't fix anything, because we're not actually pointing out the problem. The problem is nobody's making money. And so all I'm saying, listen, Soup is also not in the business of like, hey, let's try to keep tier 2 alive. Like, that's not Soup's business, unfortunately. It would be great if they had the leisure to do so, but they don't, because they're not making money off of running it. So it's like their business is to make money, and they make money by getting at least one more person onto their platform to watch one more ad, right? So that's their business decision. So then the next step of the problem would be, okay, well then if that's the only way they can make money, like why is no one else challenging to make the tournament? Because no one else owns a platform to make money off of while losing money or not, breaking even on running the tournament, right? So those are the issues. Let's take a look at the response from Jake, because I think it looked like it was a pretty long one, actually. Where is... Hey, by the way, I was on Spike Talk. You guys should go check it out. All right. Oh, it's actually just straight up. It's just very short. We are not receiving any money from Soup. Soup and Riot are co-investing in Challengers SEA. Okay, so in fact, I mean, it really just sounds like everybody's losing money on this deal, which is terrible. Whether Riot receives money or not, the result will still be the same anyway. I just hope this won't affect interest that much. Okay, so first of all, the result will be the same anyway, kind of. I'm not even going to bother with this one. However, I just hope this won't affect interest that much, because no matter how you twist it, exclusivity is like a barrier for people that have an interest to watch the game. This is the real problem, right? Now this is the problem we can talk about. So now we can have a better discussion, chat, okay? So now the discussion becomes, if exclusivity is the only way for not everybody to die, then that sounds like it's a problem, because exclusivity is a barrier of entry, which is entirely true. Now, you know, if it's an off-season tournament, you know, we live with it, right? It's off season. It's not the main course, right? This is a side dish, but it's a pretty spicy one. I would like it, but worst case, I'll catch up on. And I assume even for Challengers SEA, you're still allowed to put like highlights and stuff on YouTube. You just can't live stream it, because that's what the rules are for SVL. So, you know, for off season, it's like, okay. But for the league, now this is the whole year, right? And let's also talk about, you know, the potential problem that if you don't have eyes on tier 2, no one's going to get excited about potential talent, right? So it continues to get worse. So it's not only that there's less views for sponsorship. So I mean, okay, so exclusivity, right? It's going to affect viewership. So viewership goes down. I mean, this is just true no matter how popular, right? Even if it was Twitch, viewership's going to go down, because maybe some people live and die by YouTube and you're not getting those people. So viewership goes down, which means that sponsorship goes down for everybody, right? The chances of sponsorship and the money you might get goes down. I would say coverage goes down. And then storylines go down, because now not enough people care to watch or follow, and it's too much of an issue to care about people. And so everything goes down. So the only payoff has to be that, I mean, hopefully somebody's making big money that can feed back into the system. But it sounds like, I mean, maybe, like, if this was sustainable for 3 years, maybe Soup's making the big bucks and then they run more tournaments. Maybe, but like, that's a, I mean, who knows, right? Who even knows? But again, so then how do you fix it? Well, assuming that Riot is saying, hey, this is like the best we can do, I mean, you need to, it's just a general problem with tier 2, right? Don't you think? Try not to copy paste too much, but just understand that I have things I want to talk about before I get to chat. But anyway, YouTube says, don't you think that just giving a total of 12 spots for so many talented SEA regions is like less teams, especially since some of them are academy ones from these 12? Okay, so the academy teams part is an interesting point, because when it was first announced for 12 teams, that wasn't part of the equation for a lot of us, right? So that does eat into it. I would agree. But I would also argue that the academy teams isn't necessarily I think we can leave that out of the equation, because if anything, maybe they provide more sustainability for individual players. So I think that part is a bit of a separate issue. The 12 teams thing, I talked about it when it was first announced, and this is before we knew about the Soup exclusivity and all of that. It is a lot less, but I wagered that in the grand scheme of things, you look at how fragmented things are and the attention to different regions, etc. I wagered that over time, the condensing could be better. Now, could it be 16 teams? Sure. But do you have 16 orgs willing to invest, that are sustainable and trustworthy? Maybe not. Now, obviously, now teams are leaving even more, so like it's even worse. But I think at that time, I think when it was first announced, I think there was an argument for both sides. I really think so. I'm not even trying to defend Riot. I just think that concentration and then building up over time was actually a worthy risk. It's risky, but I actually believed, and in theory I still do, that condensing and then rebuilding up would have been good. But the problem is that now with exclusivity, you actually can't build up, right? So like, so that's where the exclusivity kind of matters, because the assumption would have been if you condense into 12 teams, right? So if you condense into 12 teams and then you are able to put them on Twitch and YouTube and everywhere, and Soup and whatnot, Soup, and then you continue to invest money into the scene, right? So it's more condensed into the 12 teams, and then it grows, and over time you can get better sponsorships. Obviously, this is all like it's a pipe dream, but that's the goal if you were to condense it, right? Then I actually think it was a worthy risk, because I think that's a lot harder to do when it's all spread out. But it's VCL, not VCT. Fix your title. You would actually be wrong, because Riot has officially claimed that they have never used the acronym VCL, and it's actually VCT. It's actually Valorant Challenger. So we're both wrong. But I'm just going to keep it at VCT, because we're going to talk about the map rotation as well. But VCL is actually just all of us using it on Twitter, and it's actually never been recognized as an official acronym. Do Korean people even care about tier 2 SEA teams? No, but I don't know what that has to do with anything. Again, you guys have to realize that Soup's not doing this for their business in Korea. Soup wanted exclusivity to try to build into SEA. Listen, I'm not trying to defend Soup. What Soup is doing is hurting it, but also it's not on Soup to like try to save everything either. That's all I'm saying, right? So Soup's just playing their own business game. Riot's trying to do whatever they can do, and it's just, the problem is everyone's just trying to survive on their own, and the result is that now the teams are taking the hit. I think that's the best summary. Valorant Challengers Leagues. But they're not called Valorant Challengers Leagues. They're just called Valorant Challengers in different regions. Listen, you can argue with me all you want about this title, but it's not VCL, and we're talking about map rotations later as well. So, and I'm not going to put like a 60-word essay on my title, because then the algorithm hates me. Well, is all blame on Riot? Listen, I'm not trying to, especially chat. Can we just make something clear? Just given the current esports political climate with myself, let's just be very clear. I'm not trying to weaponize you guys against Riot. Okay, that's actually not what I'm trying to do. Hi, I'm PCFX from Truth Esports, the sole, one of the sole Thailand Valcom content creators, and I gotta say this, SEA Valorant is effed. Well, that part I would agree, like looks really bad. It does look really bad. Jakeson said Riot is not getting money for a Soup stream, then why is it getting exclusivity? Okay, well, you can't rewind on Twitch, but if you go back on YouTube, I talk about it in the beginning. But also, I will cut this and put it up on YouTube separately. But again, just as a reminder, Riot generally pays TOs, right? Riot generally pays TOs for tier 2. Soup is a tier 2 tournament organizer. They are more than a media platform. So my guess is that Soup is, I say taking less money, but let's just say Soup is taking a hit, right? So Soup says, we'll take a hit, but give us exclusivity. And given Jake's wording of this is a co-investment, I would assume basically what it is that Riot is giving them, X amount of money in a contract, but then Soup is saying, hey, we will also just pay for these operational costs, right? And so that's probably where Soup is taking the hit. and saying, but therefore we get exclusivity, which in Riot's eyes, therefore probably the calculation was that, hey, Soup, you know, we've had them run other tournaments as well. I don't know what else, what else is in their consideration, but maybe they just thought, okay, like at this value cost ratio, that's the best ROI for the tournament being actually run. And so we're going to give it to them. But obviously things look a lot worse now. Okay, the chat moderation as a whole, that's a whole separate thing. That's a whole separate thing. That's a very separate, that's a very separate matter. That's a very separate matter. What I don't understand is they merge all of SEA for viewership purpose just for, well, I don't know. Can anyone because as far as I understood, Soup actually does decent in Thailand. Is anyone in my chat from Thailand right now? Oh, actually, PCFC, you claimed that you were from Thailand. But like, I've always been told that it was doing okay. Because Soup was exclusive to Challengers Thailand beforehand as well, right? Well, some people in Twitch are saying that that wasn't even the case, but I was gonna say we could look up the numbers, but I don't even know what numbers I would consider okay for that. So because they bought all the Thailand Valve streamers to push the product. Well, okay, you cannot like how they do it, but if the numbers are doing well, they're doing well. I mean, listen, YouTube gaming is doing all right because they bought out a bunch of streamers, but like, then they're doing all right. You know what I mean? The community's not okay. So they might not like it, but again, that's something like, okay, let me just make this very clear, chat. Esports is not going to stay alive if we just get what we want. If we want it on every platform for free, mind you, like if you want it just on your own platform, you better get ready to shell out for pay-per-view, because like that's not happening. That's just not sustainable. It's just not. It's just straight up not sustainable. Now, I agree that Soup's website is bad. It's bad in Korea, and I'm told that it's much worse when you connect from outside. So it's like, it is bad. I think they should be held accountable for that. I think they should fix it. Absolutely. I agree. I agree with that. But going to a non-exclusive with also nobody making money and none of us paying pay-per-view does not actually fix anything. It just fixes it for this year for me as a viewer. I'm from Thailand. I have a lot of problems trying to watch VCT on Soup, both on my phone and my laptop. Yeah, so I've heard this a lot too. So in Korea, at the very least, there's not really any issue connecting to the website. But obviously, if you have issues connecting to the platform, that's a big problem. And like, they should fix that for sure. They should fix that. But again, that, in my opinion, that's a separate problem that can be amended. It's like a lesser evil, in my opinion, as long as it does get fixed. If they never fix the platform, then it's a really bad problem. But, right, I mean, well, it's either that or it's, I mean, in all honesty, listen, if we were all willing to pay pay-per-view, which I think back and I'm like, maybe we should have just accepted pay-per-view way back when, because that would solve a lot of issues that we have in esports. But as people in chat have noted, it's too long gone now. And MLG tried it, and they almost got burned at the stake. So, you know. What is pay-per-view? It's when you pay for the program. Like, let's say you pay for, like, either to watch it or you're paying for 1080p or whatever, like a subscription. I think it would help a ton if they at least uploaded the VODs on YouTube. Yeah, so obviously that part I would agree is like, wait, hold on. I'm gonna tell you the numbers from the most recent events. Let me find it. For Soup, yeah, sure, yeah. Link it to us. Africa TV is still better than Soup at the same time. Africa TV is Soup. Guys, Africa TV is literally Soup. Africa TV is now just the company and Soup is the platform. They also did a poor job of marketing the rebranding, but it is literally the same company. Well, Soup is just what it is now. It's the same in Korea. They just pushed it out globally first because there wasn't as much of a foothold globally. The entire platform is now just Soup everywhere. I believe they actually changed their business registration too. I don't think they're Africa TV anymore, even in the stock market and stuff. If I remember correctly, they had less problems with the Africa website. So, I mean, that could be a case with them rebranding, and I don't know, maybe they changed something on their website, etc. Can I post links here without getting muted or banned? So I think you can post links on the YouTube chat, but I don't think it comes through, and I don't know why, because I don't think I have links. You won't get banned, but it might not show up. But I haven't seen any settings where I have it blocked. But try posting it and let me see if it comes up. Oh, YouTube just doesn't like links. Oops. You could tweet it to me if you have Twitter. There's Soup KR and Soup Global. Well, of course they have global. Otherwise, they couldn't do business globally. I mean, that's the other thing. The other thing is that yes, there is a Soup office globally, right, in SEA, and then there is a Soup office in Korea, right? So the Korean office is the one that's going to be running VCT Pacific this year, and the one that ran VCT Pacific 2 years ago. Not the same people. I mean, same like management way up top, but you know, not the same people. Links don't come as URLs, just text on YouTube. Got it. Oh, YouTube just doesn't allow external links, huh? You tweeted at me? You mean that there's different platforms? Right. Wait, where is it? Oh, here we go. This is split to last year? Oh, sorry for the flashbang. I didn't know that was going to happen, chat. That's not on me. Okay, so the reason so here's the thing. I don't really know like if this is good or bad. So I actually, this is why I stopped myself from asking to see this, because viewership is all relative. Like for instance, if Korea had a 20K viewership, it'd be freaking banging. Right? Like, it'd be like, it would be like, oh, just keep it exclusive all the time. This is great. Like, that's what we would say. So, Soup Live, COKR, souplive.com. Yeah, so it sounds like there might be different backend as well on the two platforms, which that's a separate issue. But just so we know, the site sucks in Korea too. The connectivity isn't as bad, but the site's bad. The design's bad. But also Korean websites are just generally not great. Pull Indonesia's numbers. Wait, is Indonesia's numbers? I'm just gonna say this, chat. I actually didn't know much about Indonesia, just in general, until Valorant, and like my mind's getting blown like every year. By the way, I mean, no, Indonesian Valorant is great. Indonesian Valorant is great. YouTube exclusive, good. I mean, tell that to Overwatch League. In fact, tell that to Call of Duty League. I mean, it does sound like there's probably some repetitive technical issue first and foremost with the Soup platform, which that should probably get fixed for sure. Riot always bends the rules. IMO allowed the SPG deal to diminish from Red Forest SPG, and then if an org was 5-1, Riot will again bend the rules. Well, so the problem, I would agree that this whole, like, if an orgless 5-man won, then yeah, the rules would have to be rewritten again, probably. But SPG is, I mean, their argument, which for now it holds true. You can argue that it's precedent to bend rules, but the argument is that you would have to take over the entire org, which it just so happened that does it sound a little scummy? Sure. It just so happened that SPG only had a Valorant team. So, like, yes, but chat. Okay, everyone just calm down for a second. There are plenty of things to get upset about. There are plenty of things to get upset about with the way that Valorant esports is run. Trust me. There's plenty of things to get upset about. But but what I'm about to tell you is don't get riled up about one thing and then get riled up about the next thing and then the next and the next and make it all sound like it's one big problem, because that is not how you get what you want. That's not how you get what you want. You have to be very specific and you have to pick your battles. It sucks, but you do. What are we talking about right now? We're now talking about all sorts of things, because honestly, my biggest problem I had with the discussion that everyone had was that people were spreading this idea that Soup was paying Riot, and that is not the case. And I think everyone now, obviously, Jake has he has cleared that up. So I just wanted to get that out there, right? What I'm saying is, it's just like, get your facts right before you complain or before you fight for something. Because if you have even one fact wrong, your argument gets weaker. I'm not saying don't fight for it. I'm not saying don't, talk about it. I'm just saying get your facts right. It helps a lot. It helps a lot in winning your battle. It helps a lot in winning your battle. Now, Soup is not paying Riot. Soup is not paying Riot, chat. Soup is not paying Riot. Soup is a platform and a TO. Okay? Now, you can argue, you can argue, well, then why they make the deal, but I mean, I don't know why people are so surprised that they would have taken this deal, because, like, everything we've seen and heard is that Riot's trying to save money on Tier 2 and trying to still find a way to make it work. I don't think, just so we're clear, I don't think Riot is trying to ditch Tier 2. I just think that they're trying to save money while it's still hoping to find a way to make it work. Is that a bit of a pipe dream? Is it going to hurt a lot of people on the way? Yes. But I don't think they're actively being like, "Ooh, how do we kill off Tier 2?" Like, trust me, I don't think they're doing that. I just think that they're very ambitious. And also just, I think over their course with League of Legends, they've probably learned that they need to be more objective if they want the business to grow. Is that good for us? Probably not, but I wouldn't be surprised if they are not making any money in this tournament, just enough to cover it. Oh, for sure. Yeah, and this all goes back to this all goes back to the idea that there just isn't any money, chat, in Tier 2. You guys, let's be honest. Okay. just right now, and this right now, you guys in my chat are like the core of the core fan base. How many of you watch more than half of the matches in challengers for your region? More than half of the matches, not just the big matches, more than half of the matches. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's because you don't have time. It doesn't matter if it's because you don't care. Nobody cares about the reason. Just the numbers just don't add up, right? I mean, let's be honest. I don't watch more than half the challengers matches live unless I'm watch partying them. So my point being that you can say that they need to invest more, but it's like, realistically, the high viewerships in challengers, certain regions successful, right? You guys are telling me Indonesia was blowing numbers out of the water. That's great, right? But most of it is like, there's a limit. I don't think people in SEA want Riot to invest more. Yeah, no, what you guys, listen, chat, I'm just going to say this, right? And I'm not saying that you can dislike the current situation and you can continue to make a voice so that somebody somewhere finds a solution. That is fine. But saying that, well, this sucks, just go back to before, may not actually be a solution, is what I'm saying. Okay, right? Like, it's just, it's the harsh reality is that everybody's losing money. I'd also like people to understand that money from, say, 20,000 viewership might be way smaller than what you can get from Riot. Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. Chat, you guys, you want the real truth? You want the real truth? You want less of these bad business deals to happen in esports? I would say stop using ad block, watch every single ad. You know, it doesn't matter if you don't like it. Don't cry about it. Watch every single ad. Watch every single desk segment, right? Eat up all the sponsorships. Buy those sponsored products even if you think they're crap. And then watch every ending segment. You do that. If everybody does that, then we can talk about how we want an ideal world with streaming platforms. But until that happens, I'm not saying, again, I think this is bad. The more I talk about with you guys, the whole like exclusivity is a wall for growth is actually going to hit this pretty hard. It's going to hit it harder than I initially thought back in last year. I mean, we didn't even know about the exclusivity. So I agree that the current situation is bad for SEA. And I do think that there should be a solution. But also the solution, I do not think the solution is simply, well, the TO should just go eat dirt while we get to watch it on Twitch. I don't think that's the solution, right? As someone who worked in a TO that wasn't getting good money from a lot of events, it kind of sucks, all right? I've had to chat. I was literally told to make an event happen with $0. Do you know how much it sucks to have to run an event with literally $0? It's crazy. It's crazy out there. And I worked for a company that wasn't even like some run-of-the-mill. You know? Exclusivity is fine, but YouTube and Twitch isn't going to pay for it. That's what I'm saying. You think YouTube and Twitch are going to pay for Challengers Southeast Asia? Nothing against Challengers Southeast Asia, but YouTube and Twitch don't need Challengers Southeast Asia. Do you guys understand where I'm getting at? Like, TO is a tournament organizer. TO is tournament organizer. TO equals tournament organizer. So, chat, I get it. It'd be great. If you can convince Twitch and YouTube to pay for it, then I agree. Then that would be better. But, like, you think YouTube suddenly needs to buy exclusivity to bolster their platform? Listen, if I was YouTube, I ain't buying that. Right? It's the same reason, like, for instance, the whole Twitch leaving Korea, obviously that has many layers, but at the end of the day, I look at it and I'm like, listen, if I was Twitch, I'd probably make the same call. Korea's a tiny little country. You're probably not making the big bucks off of this country, and with all the complications and the money, you just pull out. You just say, you know what, I'm done. because while Korea's great for gaming and esports, it's just not worth it for you, right? So like it'd be great if they bought it, but again, the difference is that Twitch and YouTube would be buying exclusivity, buying the rights, right? So they would be buying the media rights, whereas someone like Soup, I mean, quite frankly, actually only Soup, because, well, unless Naver wants to run tournaments all of a sudden, especially out here on the East, like they're the only platform that has a platform and runs tournaments. They can basically take a hit and recoup by getting people onto their platform, or that's the goal, right? Now, again, the argument right now is that, well, is that even going to happen? But chat, you'd be surprised, because Soup literally might actually be better off with, like, just from Soup's perspective. I'm not saying this is good for the scene, but let's say it goes from 20K to 5K. But if like 10% of that 5K stays on the platform, that might even be better for Soup. I mean, I don't know, but it could be legitimately in the long term. So like, you know, so does that suck for the scene? Yeah, but that's where Riot's also going to have to keep a good pulse on it and figure out, you know, where do you draw the line? What if the number? I mean, listen, I don't know what the number there is. I don't know what, you know, I don't know. I don't know from Soup's perspective, like what is a good ROI? What's their good ROI here? Like, I don't know, but I'm going to wager that it's smaller than we think. I'm going to wager that it's smaller than we think. Now, again, this is purely Soup's perspective. That doesn't make it good for the scene, unless the only way it's good for the scene is if they actually like break records on their ROI and then they're able to reinvest into the scene. But like, that seems like that's already out the window, right? So, I do watch every ad on Soup, though. I refresh it often because it's lagging, and every time I do, ads always pop up. I do agree that that's a little annoying. I have to do that on the Korean website every now and then, and that does happen. How much does a platform actually make per viewer per 100 watch hours? That part I don't know, and it probably differs a lot per platform. And Soup is probably lower than other platforms, just because their reach is lower. But the thing is like, like for instance, in Korea, like Soup is trying to build out other ways for them to make money, right? So it's like donos on like for streamers, and they take a cut and things like that. And then they have their points betting system, but then, you know, like prediction system, but then you can use that for giveaways. And then they have like sponsored items in there. And so there's a lot, which in all honesty, I sometimes look at the way Soup is running their business, at least in Korea, and I'm like, wow, they really are trying everything they can as a platform to try to stay alive. And like, I respect it. But again, this is all from Soup's perspective. Does it suck for current challengers SEA? I would agree. I would agree that it does. What are the oh, that's a good question. What are they calling the donations these days? I don't is it still the balloons? I'm not sure. Check Discord, brother. All right, Mr. 9th place. I'll check Discord for you. But once you guys go into 10th place, I'm done. Oh, right now? Oh, geez. All right, here we go. All right. Let me not show my whole Discord to you guys. Chat, we have a very special guest. Oh, who would have thought back in 2024 that this would happen in 2025? Let me make sure that everyone can hear you as well. Hello?
Watching.
Okay, I think I can hear you. I think everybody can hear you, but maybe you're just very soft.
You know,
Oh, there
not
he
a
is.
moniker people call me nowadays, but maybe old age, you know? Never know.
All right, chat, can you guys hear Frost all right? So say something again.
Say something again.
There you go. I think that should be good. All right.
I don't know what the rules are, so I guess profanity would be at a minimum. So
I
I'll
mean,
just say, forget you, chat.
That's
How about that?
It's all good. You be you, man. It's my channel, it's me, but you be you. It's not a watch party, so we're good.
Respect.
No. What's your take? What's going on?
I think it was less a take. I think it's more just I'd like to just ask questions because the thing is I don't know enough about Soup. So I know Talon was sponsored by them at one point, right? And I know that there was difficulties with streaming arrangements, especially the first year before I got here.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say that I think the relationship between Talon and Soup probably isn't great, but I will admit that like no one here has anything bad to say. I think it was more like, you know, you sign an agreement and you're not able to, I guess, adhere to all the all the all the agreements beforehand, just for whatever reason, right? Like some of the Thai players didn't want to stream, obviously they didn't really speak English, they don't speak, so it's like kind of complicated.
Right.
So I think the relationship is solid between them, but I know like they obviously got super butthurt because I think they didn't even invite us to a tournament. Like the year that I signed on, there was supposed to be a tournament that we got invited to and we didn't. And I'm pretty sure the only reason we got invited to Soup this year was because of Premi, because like everybody wanted us. This off season I had like 5 tournaments. I was so mad about that because I was like, guys, what are we doing? But so I think that's the only reason why they got us back this year. But I know with Twitch being taken away here,
right?
I know that caused this like power vacuum that was pretty crazy last year.
Yeah.
So I just don't understand, I think, the history with like Soup and how important they are, because remember, I wasn't here for the first season.
Right.
And then B, I just also don't understand why Riot would think that's like kind of a smart move, given the fact that exclusivity hurts. I would think, the watch parties from NA, the Tarex, the FNS, insert Shanks and some others, was probably a big deal for APAC, no?
Oh, yeah. I mean, whenever they did it, yeah.
Right.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So in my head, it's like, to note, the first year that people really paid attention to APAC was last year. And I say this with as much respect as possible. Just I remember what it was like for me being in NA and how nobody watched games. I mean, I remember players on 100 Thieves when I was on like Nitro and like Ethan and stuff. They didn't even know who Vision Striker was till like 9 months after.
Damn.
Everybody was like, "This team is legit, bro." I'm telling you, like nobody watched. So I felt like last year was like APAC's real coming out party. I mean, everyone watched PRX game.
Sure.
But I'm talking like APAC.
Yeah, like all of it.
Yeah. I feel like that like hurt momentum, but I don't know enough. So when I heard you talking about it, I'm like, bro, I got so many fucking questions. And I was like, let me just hit him up. Actually, let me just hit him up. So now we're here.
Okay. So wow. I mean, where to begin, right? So Soup, obviously, it's a platform, but they also run tournaments, right? So
right.
Like you said, with Twitch being gone, they were kind of going to be the de facto go-to, but then Naver, the main search engine in Korea, made their basically Twitch copy, and they try to compete. But over time, especially within the Valorant scene, but I think just overall in the esports scene, people felt like Naver wasn't really like catering to that fan base. They were just more trying to just be out there with gaming. And so they've been trying to move into back to Soup. So that's that. So Soup's like still, I would consider Soup still the number 1 in Korea, but they have some competition in the form of Naver. Now, obviously I think you would understand that TOs don't make money off of running tournaments.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So especially for things like SVL and stuff, it made all the sense for them to say, hey, we're going to run this tournament, we're going to invest in this, but it's exclusive to ours, right? That's the deal, Riot. Like, take it or leave it, because that's how they try to make money off of a different part of their business, which is the actual platform. And so,
fair, yeah.
And I think that now, so in Korea, they're relatively healthy. Like, they're trying to grow, but you know, they're still the de facto gaming streaming platform. But it seems to be that over the course of the years, they've been trying to expand into the SEA, whether it's, you know, partnering with different teams and things like that. And so my assumption is that they decided, after partnering with Thailand's challengers in the previous year, they said, okay, if this is all coming together, we'll run it. But hey, we'll, like, whether it's so according to Jake Sin's tweet, it sounds like they're maybe just, you know, taking certain costs onto themselves instead of Riot covering it. But basically, they're taking a hit and then saying,
right.
but give us exclusivity, because in their head, it's like that's the same thing as doing it for SVL, which it kind of is from their perspective, right? It's
yeah. It is.
Yeah.
It is.
So that was what I was trying to
tell
tell
Riot
everyone.
got stuck with the majority of the lion's share for the venue last year, which was very expensive, but by the way, at an amazing place in Coex, which we're all sad that it's not there anymore. And because they were saddled on costs, so now this becomes an economic play. So this is purely really financial then, what you're saying. Well,
Yes.
yeah,
I would
say
think
it's
so.
also, yeah, so it's socioeconomic for sure, but then there's also the thing that the time zones are really bad in North America. So like investing, it's like the China thing all over again, right? Like investing in English streams and such is not really worth it, but APAC thought it was worth it predominantly because still countries in the Pacific region spoke English, so it kind of felt like you kind of had to.
Right.
Okay, so then it's not okay. So it's not as bad because Riot is basically pigeonholed there then, because growing the international fan base isn't really worth it at the cost, given the fact that they ate so much cost last year. You have a partner that's willing to invest in quote unquote tier 2 also.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing they want is exclusivity in a country and region where, let's say, Twitch isn't kind of king. Although I think the region part might be a little bit.
Yeah, that's the part that I think a lot of people have issues with, just because obviously it also depends on the country within SEA, and there's like all sorts of different priorities. So I'm with you on the business side of things, right? Like, okay, this
it makes economic sense. Purely for both parties, it's like a perfect match.
Yeah.
If you exclude the thing I said earlier about like you want to grow Valorant, like for Riot's side, there's still a part to growing the game,
yes,
which is complete opposite. But that's a different argument. We're talking pure economics at the moment.
Yeah. So
this is actually a perfect match because they found somebody. Yeah, this is a perfect match. This is basically MTG or DreamHack ESL Counter-Strike. Right? Pretty much the same thing.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. But I think that's the thing, is that when it comes to ESL DreamHack, though, the platform wasn't the problem, right? Like, it was just the TO itself. And so as it goes with esports, the lines get a little bit blurred because Soup is also the platform, and also currently their back end and their front end, especially globally on that website and platform, is bad. So it just like gets worse and worse from the pure viewers experience.
That's a technological issue that is going to be solved, because I'm pretty sure if people were in esports earlier, the early the Red Bull StarCraft events were trash because actually Twitch was trash. So if you would say that this is a socioeconomic play from Riot, but also this is the play for Soup to try to like grow esports in their own way, then you can also make an argument, if you're from Soup's perspective, that the growth that they get out of this, more sponsorship, sub money, et cetera, all that stuff reinvested into infrastructure could mean better engineers, which means better product, which basically means stealing ideas from Twitch and blah, 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 blah. So that kind of is part and parcel like what the situation is.
Yeah, that's the long-term goal, I think.
Right. Okay. So now we got that settled. That this isn't like our word. It's more just economically, this actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And they had to make decisions. Okay. So now let's go Riot side for global. Right. So we can at least say that's fair. I think everybody should probably like.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying
Like,
to
I'm
get
trying to
out
think
there.
of arguments really against the economic play, and I can't really come up with arguments. Can you come up with arguments to the contrary? Like, oh, this is a stupid move? Because I really
No.
don't know how I can frame it.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to talk about it on my stream today too. It's just that I think the facts make sense, right?
Right.
It's not ideal, but
Right.
like I was telling people in chat earlier, things would be different if we all agreed to pay-per-view for all of our tournaments. Like then things would be different. But
that's a very deep conversation.
yes, but that's a whole different thing. So
because esports is in fact free, which is unlike anything that existed before it sports-wise.
Yeah.
If you think of NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, you could think of Japanese baseball, you could think of
anything. Yeah,
baseball is very popular here. Premier League soccer, like none of it was free like this. This is like way different.
Yeah. So with that said, that makes sense. So then what I'm trying to get people to do is I agree that the situation, the result sucks, but we should be aware of like what is the actual problem, right? It may not be the agreement itself that's the problem, because maybe like you just said.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are mad right now about the DSG thing, but they don't understand that like they were probably looking for an out anyway.
Right.
And this is like a very convenient time. Like it's complicated, but like, okay. Okay, fine. So I think we agreed that economically this makes sense. Okay, so let's talk about growth of the game perspective, because this is where I'm kind of fascinated by this, because I think it's kind of cap, no? Like you can't say you're trying to grow the game and also restrict it, right?
Right, yeah. That was the conclusion I had reached as well, where I was like, yeah, it does. Because I was actually on board, when they announced that SEA was going to be all one region and, fans got upset about it. I sat there thinking, no, but in the long term, this may be the risk you have to take, right? To concentrate it and then grow it and put the money back in and things like that.
Okay.
But now you have exclusivity on a platform that people don't like. And it's suddenly like, well, that all goes out the window, because now nobody's getting anything out of it other than potentially Soup trying to, build their business.
Because my counter argument is, okay, but they need to grow this in Pacific. Okay, but then what happens if the geniuses in EMEA, which, as you know, with the scheduling stuff, mad troll, what if those guys go, yo, you know what we're going to do? We're going to make it, ESL only, or kick only, right? And then what happens if in NA they go, yo, Twitch, you're not paying us enough. Fuck you, bro. We're going to go to like kick only. Now, all of a sudden, every region is splitting itself. Right? They're going away from platforms where you can get, I don't want to name streamers like that because I'm not trying to give them any promo, but you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Like
we
watch
all know.
party favorites, right? So then you can live in a world where, even in some places geographically, you're locked. Like, how some programs are not allowed in other areas, right? Like,
oh, yeah.
Right? So, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So this is, I think, the slippery slope that I immediately was like, wait, what? Because exclusivity for viewership is very different when you add that element to it. Because at the moment, you don't have that situation, but you can enter a situation where it's like hard to watch your product. It's similar to, I'm not sure if you're familiar with what's happening in the NBA right now.
Kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. So viewership is down
right.
at it's an astronomical level, but the reason it's down is because like some games are like on Peacock, some games are on this service, that service. And basically like most of the games are blacked out because you have to have like a subscription service to watch it. So yeah, viewership numbers are bad for commercials, obviously, outside of like the major channels that have like a few games a week, like your ABC, NBC in America. But it's literally because you fucking can't watch the game anywhere cleanly. You have to watch, you want to watch the Lakers play this week, you got to watch it on this shit. You want to watch them watch next week, you got to watch it on that shit. And it's not that the problem will be that bad in Valorant, but I can imagine if this becomes precedent, then you could watch NA VCT on fucking, X channel. You can watch EMEA on that channel, and then you have nobody watching it because they're just like, bro, I'm not trying to fucking make 17 logins and
it's just with TV shows too, right? You gotta have your Netflix, you gotta have your Hulu, you gotta have your Disney Plus. Like we're in that era where you have to just have like 50 different subscription
Right.
services to watch anything.
Right. So that becomes a fucking massive problem, I think. And I think in the long term, it does the exact opposite of what they're trying to do in terms of growing the game. Because you're restricting access in a way that you hadn't done previously. And you're doing it also, this is like no disrespect to Pacific, but you're also doing it with a region that's socioeconomically can't pay the way that, let's say, North Americans could, right?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, also just like the market itself and the size and the companies. Yeah.
So it's kind of like, if anything, in my opinion, and I don't know if I'm right about this, but I feel like if anyone were to not be or if any region were to not have done this, it should have been APAC because of the fact that they have all these socioeconomic restrictions, and you want this region to grow probably the most because there's so many different countries that are a part of this region, as opposed to North America and EMEA. I mean, I guess the argument could be made that EMEA is very similar in terms of the amount of countries, but you get my point, right? It's like the economic disparity is so vast that like you want to make sure that APAC has the ability to watch it at all times, because you want those low income viewers anyway. You don't want to restrict them because you need them.
Right. Okay. So here, now I'm just spitballing as well. But the devil's advocate, I think, would be that also because of how isolated, so to speak, Pacific is as a region, right? In terms of viewership, et cetera. Like it's like you said, right? People in Americas like aren't really actively watching Pacific.
Right.
That's why exclusivity maybe seems like a safer bet here, right? Just even aside from what you said within the region. And chat, Frost isn't calling us poor. Okay, that's not.
Oh, is that what this? Bro, no, it's just the dot. Like in America, you can hike up the price because these people will fucking pay for it, but here you can't. It's the same in LATAM.
Yeah,
it's
it just means that
stuff that you
Americans
can get away with charging in America, you cannot do that in LATAM.
Yeah, it just means that Americans will just pay unreasonable money for anything. That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
my
my counterpoint is that I think I wouldn't be surprised if there was a discussion and they said, yeah, but is it really going to be that bad if Pacific is isolated on a platform? Obviously, barring the different nations and having different priorities, etc.
Okay.
So in that sense, maybe, obviously, is that short term? Maybe, like you said, because maybe then EMEA or Americas looks at it and says, ooh, we could do that too. And then it gets all really bad. But
yeah, I think, okay, so, this might be fair, but I think it came early because to my knowledge of Soup, because I've looked around the Soup platform, Soup is obviously Korean, but like the website wasn't, I guess, user-friendly for those outside of Korea, correct?
It's bad in Korea, too.
Okay, but so my point is, then maybe the argument we made in economics about like, hey, they can reinvest and obviously update their infrastructure, maybe that's also incorrect because actually, if they were going to make a move like this, they probably should have done it on a platform that like, is, let's say, favorable to like, people that speak like Thai or Vietnamese or like, right? Like to make it more agnostic, I guess. But
yeah, so someone else, I hadn't even considered this, but someone earlier was saying this in chat, that there's also the possibility that there wasn't really a good competitor, that nobody wanted to run Challengers SEA at whatever cost. And Soup was the only one willing, as long as they got exclusivity, right?
I mean, you're having the same problem in North America too.
Right. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, right? Or the competition was just like way not trustworthy or whatever. So if that's the case, you didn't. Again, we go back to the point that you just didn't have a choice.
Right. Fair. You could be positive about Soup for this, but then I think this is a gross negative because I've been bitching about this shit forever. This is a gross negative for Riot. Because they moved this into franchising without a legitimate plan for Tier 2. And every year, they've had a more backwards program, divested in Tier 2, divested in GC. They say all the right things because they want, uneducated or even educated people to be duped. But like if you have the brain power of like an adequate human, you could definitely see that they're basically just like, talking in one direction and moving in another, right?
Right.
Because then this is not a real Soup issue. This is a fucking Riot and Tier 2 issue.
It's a Tier 2
because
issue.
basically what you're saying is Soup is going to be the savior
well,
of tier 2, which
potentially,
then
yeah.
it's like, wait a minute, time out. You're Riot. You want to put your IP Valorant in the hands of someone else, but in reality, you this whole time said no to ESL, no to DreamHack, no to every other that has tried to do this over the years with League of Legends, including obviously the CS:GO guys that wanted to come here in Valorant early. And now all of a sudden you don't have a tier 2 system because you decided on running it yourself. And now you're like, wait, time out. This is too expensive or we don't know how to do it. My bad, bro. But now you're missing almost, I would argue, a whole generation of players because tier 2 hasn't been in flux for like 3 years. And if you go by like, let's just say, because I'm American, so just humor me on this, North American high school system, every 4 years is a new generation of kids, right? Every 9 through 12. So if you do the math, then it's basically like they just fucked over an entire generation of kids. And now they figured out, wait a minute, you know what we could do? This thing that CS has been doing for a long time. Let's just get third-party organizers to run our shit. God damn it. That's genius. Which then, I'm almost at a loss if that's the logic now, right?
Yeah. I think it's just this has brought back to light the big problem with tier 2. And it's like, what is the goal with tier 2, right? Like, do you just accept that you're going to just continue to lose massive money on this thing, but just so you can bolster a good player base for tier 1, where you're hoping to make money, whether it's through the sport or through the game? Or like, are you also trying to at least break even on tier 2? Because then that's a whole different conversation.
Right. I mean, again, if this was an economic play, then, I mean, if we're being completely honest, then franchising was a huge mistake from the beginning. Because the moment you invest into franchising and creating a closed system, you're then incurring all of the risk and the cost on yourself from the beginning.
Right.
So then why didn't we have things in place from the beginning, like salary caps in both leagues, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because the real issue they're running into is the complaints from teams, right? Because they have to, they kind of cutted the whole program, but the whole partnership program was, you need to subsidize the cost because it's really expensive. Well, it really only got out of control because they didn't have the proper guidance in the beginning,
right?
Because they were allowing orgs to spend 40, 50K on players and competing for arbitrary, victories. And now all of a sudden you enter the system where now you have people, bro, the first year in franchising was insane. When I tell you the rat race and the salaries were unbelievable. And then some orgs are still having them. Like, yes, a lot of orgs backed off. But now you're looking at this and it's just like, bro, what the fuck is this, bro? And now you have, we talked about it, I think, off air, but, T1 is a super team because of what they're spending based on the average costs here in APAC.
Right.
But that is still like average salary for an A team.
So, but just a side note, right? Just so also we clarify this for chat. Obviously, it's not franchising; it's a partnership. And so now I have a question for you. I want to know your take. Yeah. So contracts are over in 2027, right? They review everyone, and does that fix anything in your opinion? If you review and just re-sign different teams?
No, because it doesn't fix the big problem, which is you being, I guess, right at this
Me,
very moment.
Chobra is the big problem.
No. and it doesn't fix it because your rules are still in place. If you're telling me that when they go for the review, that they're going to add new systems in place to hopefully help everyone be more fiscally responsible via the league, right? Salary cap being chief among them, then sure, maybe it will. But knowing Riot the way that I think I do, that's not going to be in place. So then no. I mean, sure, protecting us from bad orgs, I guess, but that's just cap because the Bleed situation was just Bleed got out of control. But there are other orgs in here. I mean, we don't got to get into this now. It sounds like spy talk. Let me just say, shit is crazy. Now, you guys know way more than me about APAC, but in NA, bro, if I told you guys some of the shit,
Let's calm down. Let's calm down.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So taking them out and putting better teams in, let's say DSG, for instance, what does that fix? You just have a more sustainable team in your league. Great. But sustainable teams aren't the problem. You have the teams investing in them now. They're just complaining about, I think, what they get out of it. And until you fix that on the other side, then you're going to be in a world where it's just like, you know, a constant back and forth. That's, I think, my problem is that not every team plays by the same rules, which that's another deep one.
Yeah, that's a
later. Not every team plays by the same rules, but also Riot doesn't really set parameters and rules. They don't. It's only when you cross an arbitrary line that it becomes an issue.
Right. It's more
And that
about,
I think is
yeah, just
weird.
making sure you don't go too far rather than having the complete foundations, I guess.
Yeah. So no, I don't think it fixes shit. And I think that's the frustrating part for me is I've watched so many tier 2 players that have a good chance to like do something and accomplish something, and they're just basically not playing Deadlock or, you know, Marvel Rivals or so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So to the counterpoint of the overall regional socioeconomic thing, someone's saying that if you look at Mobile Legends Bang Bang, because of how popular it is, people are actually investing into the teams themselves in the game. And so like even outside orgs are trying to invest into the Apex scene just because of how big it is. So like
Right, fair,
the
but
counterpoint is, yeah.
Yeah, but this is the thing about that argument is, okay, mobile is more economically viable because you need a phone. Just think of the hardware costs, right? So you're looking at per player, right? If you were to be in NAVCT, let's say on average each PC is about $4,000, right? Right?
Sure.
Then you need office space because you need a PC. Then you need peripherals. Then you need, you know, internet and blah, 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 blah. If you get into mobile, you just need a phone. And the reason why mobile is so big in Asia really is because the internet infrastructure has been, I would say, behind Europe especially. And because of that, that's why, especially the Swedes, like if you think of like Counter-Strike, the reason why the Scandinavian countries were so dominant early on in all of the very competitive PC games is simply because they had fiber lines and they had submarine lines, like transit landing lines, before everyone else.
Right.
So they have a massive advantage. So the only reason I don't think it's fair to compare mobile to us in this case is simply because out the gate, the costs are so much less. So for instance, if you don't have to subsidize all those PCs and all the infrastructure I just told you, you can pay affordable wages to players, and it isn't crippling you because you don't have to add the weight of the other. And then for Riot, for instance, for tournaments, it's obviously a lot easier because when we do a 16-team tournament, which is why I think some of these majors, because I'm pissed that it's 2, 3, 4, right? 2 for Thailand, each region, 3. I think that's dumb. But one argument you can make for them is if you think about the cost incurred by 16, again, every single player, you have to basically add up the costs per player equal to that of the ones we just mentioned about just the hardware costs, right? Forget everything else.
Yeah.
And you have to multiply that by, you know, every team. And it's just, when you start doing the difference between, wait a minute, why don't I just do fucking mobile tournaments? Yeah, actually, like for real.
You know
like
what's really funny though?
Yeah.
Is that one of the big esports that Riot fumbled was Wild Rift, which was their mobile game.
Oh, let's not even get into that. Who the fuck ran that? Oh, wait, time out. Who got a promotion off that? Wait a minute, time out. Let me stop. Yeah, man. This is the problem. Is like, I feel like no matter what you do with Riot, you're always talking about cutting corners in some way.
It just popped up in my head.
That's it. You just have to look deep. Look who was ahead of the game before, and then look at the promotion this person got into a larger game with more expectations. It is insane. It is fucking insane. Esports.
Hold on.
So tech became a place where this could happen, but esports is just insane. No, it's insane.
Listen. I think it's a bit more complicated than that. But...
You think? I don't think it's complicated at all. It's blindfold dartboard. That's all it is. Well, blindfold dartboard.
I think the Wild Rift failure is probably, it's pretty apparent, I would say, but I don't think it's
I don't know. Arena of Valor did okay.
This is you and me though. You fire shots and I kind of hold my.
No,
rounds,
don't,
so.
bro. Don't, bro. Let me take the shots. They fucking hate me anyway. I'm just saying, if we really think about it, explain to me how Arena of Valor was more successful. Arena of Valor is a fucking copy of Honor of Kings. League of Legends actually had IP that could withstand Honor of Kings, and it failed. Like, come on, bro. Look at IP. You want to talk about IP? What about Marvel Rivals? What makes Marvel Rivals so much better than Overwatch? Okay, you could argue maybe a more competent dev team. Okay, but you know what the one thing is that they have over them? IP. So explain to me how fucking Marvel Rivals is considered successful, and Wild Rift had everything going for it, similar to Marvel Rivals, but one was a colossal failure. Come on, bro. Come on, this is just facts, bro. This is just facts.
Facts provided by Frost.
No. It is just facts. IP.
What you said is facts.
It's a massive advantage. Yes, this is a massive advantage. They fumbled the bag. Unlucky, bro. Just
definitely
fumbled the bag.
Yeah, definitely fumbled. Agree with that.
Bag. But don't bring that shit over here. Never mind.
Oh man,
too late.
Yeah, but I think
too late.
I think you brought up a good point that mobile is just a whole different market. So that's
right. And I think it's
different.
It's so easy to want to be like, and I get the example. It's not like it's brain dead to do it. It's just that it is sometimes more complicated because dollar and cents, when you start to actually parse it, when you start thinking of the differences, it's like, yeah, fuck that. Why do I venture into PC at all? Because this shit is crazy. And it's true. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's way more expensive than people think.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know, man. It's just, I don't know if there is at this point, especially with already there being obviously, yeah, you could break the contract and find a new partner or whatever, but with it already being in motion, I don't know how you fix it.
I don't think you can, because I think all it does is make the situation worse, and I'm tired of Riot making situations worse. I think it's more just, I think at this point,
you just have to weather the storm.
Yeah, but they need to figure out whether this is the right move to take, because it opens up the door for EU and it opens up the door for NA to do the same thing, and then you have to start going down the, like, I think at this point you have to sit with Soup, especially because the tournaments are in a week, 2 weeks. Like, you cannot sit here and just turn around and just, bro, could you imagine what the situation would be like if Soup and Riot are no longer partnered? You think Riot is capable of, within 7 days, putting this together?
Right, running it.
All the kickoff? Nah, bro.
Yeah, definitely not.
That is not the swag. So, on a personal level, I don't think anything should change. I just came to talk to you because I just had no idea, like, why Soup was so important and how they managed this, given the fact that, in my opinion, ESL, DreamHack, and others were not afforded ever the ability to do so here. And I just didn't understand what made Soup so important. But I got some of the answers.
Yeah.
It just is unfortunate that I think we're going to live in a world where you can only use their platform. And I think that is going to restrict a lot of people from being able to do things. I don't know how that's going to affect the watch parties. Like, I know for Soup, people really couldn't watch party, right? They had to.
Yeah,
they were using their voices only, but nothing else.
Yeah. You can't show the game. So, like, some people were trying to bend rules just enough, like, by just only showing mini-map and but you can't show the actual gameplay. You can upload, like, reviews and highlights afterwards onto YouTube, but, you know, that's already, the live is done, so you can only live watch party on Soup, which I was shocked that Sean Garris was like, you know what, it's my time to go to Soup, and he watched party that entire tournament on Soup. But
yeah, I know that's actually where we watched most of the games anyway.
Yeah.
So it's actually kind of funny.
Yeah, it is funny.
But yeah, I was kind of surprised, because even at Soup, apparently the agreement wasn't done, because we found out there that, like, hey, there's a chance that, like, it's not going to be Soup. So we were just trying to figure out whether we stay at Coex or not. Because I think even Talon was thinking of moving offices closer up north.
Oh, yeah.
By the time we found that out, we were like, oh, wait, there's just no point. We should stay here. So, like, it's crazy, right? They hadn't had their contract signed technically even in December when we played at Soup.
We're just letting it all out there now.
I mean, maybe, but like, no one had me on NDA. No one told me not to tell anybody.
True.
That's just the
Okay,
fact
yeah, fair.
that like one of the managers were like, yeah, we're not sure yet if it's actually gonna be us, but you know, there's a good chance. And we were like, wait, you don't even know? It's like a month out, no? And they were like, you just saw their face. It was like,
Oh,
yeah,
it wasn't smooth. That's for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, it tells you it went 11th hour, which means that Riot probably thought about a lot of these issues.
A lot of things. Yeah.
Felt like they had no fucking choice. Which makes me wonder who else were they competing against? Because I know you said there was like nobody, but there had to have been somebody.
Well,
no?
in SEA,
like just in general to take over the league.
Well, in SEA, I don't know. I actually don't know the partners very well. Someone was just suggesting that might be the case, that there wasn't really any competition. But I mean, it's always I guess man, who are the, like, there's the ones that ran Ascension. I think that was the same group both years. One esports or one up esports or whatever, and then I think
I won't even pretend to be knowledgeable about this stuff.
Yeah, but I think it's also mostly like, if you have TOs at all, they're kind of sub-regional, right? So like you have like Thai organizers and you have like Indonesia or Singapore organizers, things like that. So I think that's probably another difference in terms of the competition. But yeah, I wouldn't be as knowledgeable in the business partners there either, so that one I can't speak on too much.
Well, that fucking sucks. You know what else sucks?
Oh, you want to talk about the map rotations?
brother. They do this every time, bro.
Oh, perfect timing.
What the fuck, bro? After kickoff, well, what was it? A year ago, 2 years ago? All of a sudden, it's like, yo, Lotus. Now we got these dog shit map, bro. First off, what the fuck was this last year with fucking Split? Yo, we're gonna let 1 week Split's not in, the next week Split is in. Like, who the fuck was paying them to like help them? Like, what team was like, yo, Riot, let me slip this. Yo, just ban Split for 1 week, and then the next week we good, bro. We just don't want to play this team. Brother, what the fuck is this, bro? And now Ascent is back?
Ascent's back,
Didn't
baby.
everybody say they don't like it?
I love Ascent, man.
Nah, bro. This shit is cooked, bro. We got 2 new agents. 1 new agent coming 2 weeks before his fucking God's gift to nobody. Now, all of a sudden, you got this bullshit where now it's not only, yo, we got 2 new agents basically making their VCT debut. One of them brand spanking new.
Right
before the like league season, but then it's, yo, by the way, after this tournament, 2 new maps, boys, with no time to practice unless you suck and can't make it, then it's good for you because you got a month. I actually wholeheartedly completely agree with Kaplan.
Yeah, his
because I felt everything he was coming from.
So is it any better if it's only 1 map? Obviously, I guess slightly better.
Yes, it is 50% better, I guess.
That's fair.
Or 100% better.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, 100% better. No, but still, though, it just doesn't make any sense, bro. At least season 2, no?
Okay, but so... Okay, but what? So they already announced that they're going to do these more frequently, right? So we knew it was coming in some form. We just didn't know it was going to be like this.
They announced frequently, but how fucking frequently, guys?
Right.
Did you just make this shit up like next week? You're going to decide like 2 months from that? It's just like, in my opinion, this is just my opinion. There's no fucking way a season's about to start and you don't already know from start to finish what the fuck is going to happen. So before champs, we should know what the map changes are, blah, 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 blah.
Sure.
All the teams should know. Why am I sitting here in fucking a dark room waiting for them to tell me, yo, by the way, season 1, these 2 maps. Season 2, these 2 maps. Season 3, these 2 maps. It's like, shouldn't we know that now? Because we can kind of prep for it now.
Like the whole year. You want the whole year laid out. I see.
Right. I know when champs is, so why the fuck don't I know when my maps are changing?
That's, yeah. I mean, this goes back
it's
to
insane work, bro.
It goes back to what we talked about in Spike Talk. Your argument is, if you're going to do this, just make it consistent, right? So if you want to change it every time, just let me know ahead of time, and then we live with it. But
of course. But it's just insane, bro. It is actually. Just think about it. Forget from my perspective, because obviously everybody hates me, so like, who cares? Just think of it from this perspective. You have a job, right? And in your job, you are graded on your abilities to do whatever job. And then someone's like, yo, you know what we're going to do? You're using a PC. You're not going to use a PC. Now you're only using your phone for this month. You're using your phone. These are the changes we're going to make 2 weeks before Like you have 2 weeks, and then you have to like hit this deadline and do this shit, right? Then it's like, yo, the next time your office is not at a cubicle. Now it's on the roof. In 2 months from now it's on the roof. It's just like, wait, time out. Like, I don't understand how we go from 2 new agents to 2 new maps in the span of 30 days. And then really finding out within, and I'm not even, they're not even gracious enough to give us 30 days to find out.
Yeah.
Like, at least give us some notification beforehand. That's why I said season 2. Why not have these maps go with season 2 and you let us know now? So now we have an entire season to prepare. So that means in the midst of competition, we need to be thinking about the map rotations and changes. Instead, it's let's compete for a 2 fucking team tournament. And then, by the way, people, so when you come back,
right,
entirely new pool.
So if it's season 2, do you think that actually like that takes care of at least that kind of fairness problem? Because at least you have like you can work on it in your off time during the season.
You have a whole season to make adjustments. And if you're a team that was in the shitter, now you have more time because your bum ass needs it. Right?
Right.
So the good teams did well. The unfortunate byproduct of doing well is what? Is that you have less time to prepare. But now telling me in kickoff, yo, by the way, you're going to compete for a 2-team tournament. But if you make that 2-team tournament for a few points, by the way, now you're fucking, 3 weeks behind? That's just kind of crazy really because now it's like, it's not the same thing to punish the teams that did well. Now you're just like incentivizing teams to do bad.
Right. Because like
because
you're at
a loss. Points are so little. Right.
Yeah.
Now, if there were more points for this, because there's only 2 teams. So, small example. If the qualification points for a 2-team turn, or like top 2, if it's more points than top 3, and then more points than top 4, then okay. Then you can value. Then it becomes a value proposition. Then it's like, okay, but if we are ahead of the meta now, like the Tejo meta, the Pendejo meta, then if we do that, we can instantly like propel ourselves with more points, and all we have to have is an average season.
Right.
You can start parsing the math and be like, right? Like we did this last year.
Yeah. Like you guys said, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even play Zeta. Like I was literally focused on Primi because I was like, yeah, we're already in. Who gives a fuck, right? You can start doing those calculations. But here, the only calculation is Thailand is trash. Because you don't even want to make it because you're 3 weeks behind if you make it.
Right.
And then it becomes exactly what happened to us. For instance, we did not qualify out of Madrid, remember?
Right.
But then we started 4-1 in the season. Because we had extra time, of course.
Yeah.
Right? So then it's like, do we do that thing again? Obviously, as a Thai representative, it becomes a little bit more complicated, but you get what I'm saying. It's like, dude,
that's the part crazy, I dislike the most, actually. Obviously, for me, like not being on a team, that part I sympathize, but that's a different discussion. But even from like a viewer perspective, it's like, well, yeah, now there's asterisks everywhere, right? It's like, well, was this worth it? Like, were they trying? Like, are they practicing this map? Like, there's just
and then the counterpoint to that exists because look at what happened with KC last year. They were by and large ahead of the meta. Right? By the time season 1 happened, cooked. Because everyone saw it and was like, wait a minute, we don't have to play against this. They don't have a lot of time to adjust.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, fuck. Right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is to this. I would just say that if I were there, one of the biggest arguments I would have is we need to at least decide these things before the season starts and let everyone know exactly what the times and dates are. Because I think it's grossly unfair that we're partners in this league, but we're not really partners because they pull the rug from under us at any time they want. And then they blame it behind the optics of like, oh, man, it's very difficult to schedule. So start fucking hiring people that can figure this shit out instead of every year complaining about the same thing. It's like every year they're putting themselves in the same hole and then going, yeah, bro, it's someone else's fault, someone else's fault, someone else's fault. I don't know, man. Just find people that like aren't fuck ups and can do it right, and then you won't have a problem, no?
Yeah, I hadn't ever considered the whole like let you know ahead of time, but have the whole season in between so that you at least have some spare time to prep. That seems like a pretty reasonable compromise, except for obviously maybe they don't want that for the game itself, where they just want constant changes, because that's a whole different issue as well.
Look, the truth is that gives me an advantage. I like constant changes, but even I'm not dumb enough to say that this tail thing is a good idea. Sure, does it give me an advantage? I think so. But that doesn't mean it's good for Valorant, and that definitely doesn't mean that the best teams are going to go to fucking Thailand.
Yeah.
Because, like, suppose we make it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a fuck if people say, like, we got carried by Tejo. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. But at the same time, it's like, then the argument is going to be what? We didn't make it on our own merit, blah, 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 blah. And sure, there will definitely be some merit to that. But I'm just saying, why do you even want that in the first place? Didn't we have an whole offseason to show off how good we are? Ish.
Right. Ish. yeah, a little bit of an asterisk there.
So let's just do that, right? Like, if Gen G had the best offseason, let Gen G go. Like, let them show that the work they put in the offseason was for good value. Because basically all they did was say, yo, by the way, if you went on vacations and didn't have an offseason, it's great. Don't worry. We got Tejo in here now. Why do you want to reward that sort of behavior? Now, if you want to give us an offseason, mandate it, right?
Yeah.
Just mandate the offseason. In the same way that the NFL does, right? With, like, specific, like, OTAs and voluntary, non-voluntary stuff, like blah, 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 blah. Let's do that, bro. So it's just weird to me that not only do we have a system where new agents can be added and, you know, in my opinion, unfairly allowed to play in tournaments under a specific, like, time.
Mm-hmm.
But now we're entering a system where multiple maps can be included and excluded without us knowing, with barely any time to prepare, because I don't think any team in the world is going to start, and I could say this very confidently now. I am not preparing for Ascent or Icebox today. My focus is on kickoff.
Yeah.
So then this is where my argument is about, now you're incentivizing people to do bad, because if I want to do better in the season, which, by the way, seasonal points equals more points than can be collected for majors. So then why not just literally spend the next month ahead of schedule and dominate on those maps?
Yeah.
Because technically speaking, that's what we did last year.
Yeah.
So then what the fuck was the whole offseason for? Or, sorry, what was the preparation in the offseason for?
Right.
If the argument is you want the best Valorant, then you just shit on that result by making our offseason useless. If the argument is we want to give players more time to live their lives and reduce the risk of burnout, fantastic. But then let us know this beforehand, no?
Right. So you know what to come back to, so you can relax at ease and then get prepared.
So, yeah, I don't know if there's a player that can make an argument to me that is beneficial.
That this is good.
Riot's argument here. Yeah, I don't actually know. Because maybe I'm just not looking at it correctly. But none of our guys think that way, for sure. So it's not like we're biased against these things because we think it's really dumb.
Right. I mean, I think like you said, even if the cadence of when you change, etc., even if you could argue like maybe that's good for viewership or whatever, at least you can still let everyone know way ahead of time and like have a strict system, etc., and that would already still make it a bit more bearable. So like I don't think the current form is necessarily, I don't think anyone can argue that it's a positive.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad, like, because I know we're not the only ones that feel this way. And the truth is, I may have a slight advantage with this. So thank you, Riot, I guess. But there are a lot of teams that I think are really screwed because of this.
Oh, I bet. I mean, how do you even build up new players with all of this as well, right? Just the constant changes.
Yeah, I mean, and some teams had their comps locked, and some teams felt good about it, and some teams are investing more money than other teams, and then all of a sudden it's like, you know, like the Nelson Muntz from
yeah.
I don't know, bro. This shit is cap, bro.
Yeah, it's a bombshell. It just dropped out of nowhere too.
Yeah, bro.
So
That
this
shit is
one you guys
crazy.
didn't know ahead of time, like even a couple days.
No, bro. No,
That's
bro.
crazy.
Bro, I didn't even know about Tejos until like
Right.
48 hours before like announced, because we had access to the
To the
like
PTR,
yeah, the public test room,
yeah.
and then we tried it, and we're like, I remember telling Cruz like, dude, you are not gonna believe this, and he didn't believe it actually. He didn't actually believe this. I was like, yo, you know how you have to pick Brim to counter Killjoy? Lol. He was like, wait, what? I was like, yeah, someone has that as an ability, brother.
Right.
He was like, nah, I don't believe that. Let me see it.
Yeah.
Yep. And then I told him, yo, what if you could build like the perfect initiator? What 2 abilities would he use? And I remember it wasn't him. I think it was Gov was like, oh yeah, dart and KO knife, which he silent to. I was like, ha ha. And I was like, yo, what about both? And he's like, huh?
That's amazing.
Yeah. That's literally how the conversations went when I went back to him. Like, guys, Houston, we have a problem.
Jeez.
Yeah. So like we found out 48 hours before, then he's announced, and then we start like going, okay, clearly he's not going to be allowed for kickoff, but definitely for season 1, we got to really look into him. So the moment like we get a chance, we got to start. And then the bombshell drop, we found out, no, he's playable during kickoff. And I was like, wait, what? Wait, but Vice is playable. So we're going to have 2 new agents at the same time?
Yeah. That
Has that ever happened before? No. So why the fuck is this happening now? And then I'm just like, wait a minute, timeout. But he kind of counters.
Right.
Oh, shit. So then I'm like, damn, this is tough, bro. So yeah, it's just.
Yeah.
That's
it's
basically
actually
how the cycle went.
Crazy, because I admit I hadn't really thought about the whole Vice part either, right? Until you brought it up. But it's kind of crazy how that kind of slipped under the radar of like it's 2 new agents. I mean, sure, yeah, like you said, we had the off season, but yeah,
The thing is, it's not hard to me to be like, hey guys, we're gonna restrict Tejo's access for kickoff too soon, but he will be accessible season 1. I still think it's an astronomical change to add 2 new agents in VCT at the same time.
Right.
It is. And if they want to argue, well, we released Vice beforehand, my counter is going to be, wait, during an offseason where you clearly didn't respect people's practice because they practiced the agent that you released in preparation for kickoff, and then you said, fuck you, we got a better agent for kickoff. So pick one. Like, whatever argument they're ready to come out with, I already have my guns loaded because I just don't understand. So, like, that to me is the fundamental issue. It's like, at the very least, they could have been respectful and just let Vice have her shine, and then let Teo have his shine, you know, and at least give some teams some time. Instead, it's like 2 weeks before your games, or a little bit. I think it was 2 weeks, but maybe it could have been less. But let's just say 2 weeks would be nice. 2 weeks before your games, G and Team Secret. Good luck, bros.
Yeah, right under 2 weeks, I think. Yeah.
And then if they knew this fucking thing was going to happen, why not just tell us? Why not give access to teams beforehand? Oh, we're afraid of leaks. If you're afraid of leaks, then okay, fair. But then keep it quiet and then release it when you released it and just make him not playable since you had to restrict access to us because you're afraid of leakage. Just make him not playable.
So
for at least one tournament.
I will just put in one small counter argument to that is I do think it's very important for the game that the people are playing to be the same that they're watching. So they're probably prioritizing that. I'm not saying that the schedule is good. I'm just saying that the whole like releasing it a month before and then not being on the tournament, that they probably want to start to avoid that.
So then what the fuck happened over the course of the years? Like, okay, fine. You're turning a new leaf this year.
Right.
Great. But why can't you start this logic with a more, with a less punishing example?
Yeah. No, I think more respectful is also a good way to put it. I think putting the word respect in there is actually kind of important, right? Rather than just saying like it's good or bad. But like you said, because when I was watching the China games, that's after talking to you, like that's all I could think about was they have some cool Vice deadlock stuff. It's another evolution after the early offseason of Vice, but it's like,
Right.
who knows where it goes
Oh,
after
you saw
Tejo.
Vine.
Yeah.
Right. And now it's like, yeah, good luck with that shit, bitch. It's like, doesn't make any sense to me, bro. And sure, I think your argument about they want this year to turn a new leaf and let players playing the game play the same game they're watching. I think it makes sense. I think it's a strong argument for why things are happening the way that they're happening. But the amount of money being invested and the amount of time being invested in the short window, the short careers that some people are having because of, performance, I think that also has to be taken into account. That sure, I guess you have to cater to the more casual audience because that's your bigger base.
Right.
But your league is important too. And you need to prioritize which one. And I think your other argument about China is interesting because China didn't use Tejo.
I know, yeah, they didn't get to because it was too early, and now they'll have to do it.
Oh, then what
weekend.
the fuck is the argument for?
No, theirs is even worse because now they can use Tejo this week. So the opening,
but that's my point though.
Yeah,
then the opening week, so then it's like last year where it's like, oh no, you can't use our best this week, but you can use them next week. Oh, Splitter's gone this week, but it's back.
Yep.
It's like, guys, please, fuck, man, please.
Yeah.
So it's like, even if I wanted to give your argument the most credence and the most respect, and I'm like, damn, that's a good fucking point. When you then go to China, you're like, well, week one, that rule's already broken, so shut the fuck up. That's just the way my brain works. It's just like, so you can't even use that justifiable argument anymore because you already fucked it up week one. And then if you're going to use, but it was just China, now you're just disrespecting an entire franchise.
True.
And then you're disrespecting the champions.
Yeah.
Because technically speaking, that league, they are the champions.
Yep, that's true.
So then that should be your most important league going into this year.
Yeah. I mean,
so then they should not have been pigeonholed with the week one problem.
Right.
Because now you have some people, for instance, I don't want to give too much away, but I'll just say that I don't know if Bind plays out that way. I don't think those comps have the, play out the same way with Tejo in the pool.
Oh, I'm with you on that, man.
So now you gave people sus wins.
Yep.
And you're supposed to be like the championship league.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
And that to me is Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
the teams that played the non-Tejo comps. You're right.
Hey, that is fucked. And I think that's unfair. And obviously I know they don't care. But yeah, man, it's just that shit is cooked. So I'm more mad about that shit than I am the soup stuff.
Well,
the soup stuff I just don't understand by not being here long enough to understand.
Right.
But I just thought it was a weird play by Riot given the success I thought they had internationally with this region in specific. And the same with China. I mean, I know we brought up Ryan Central because like he was in chat, by the way. Shout out Ryan. I'm sorry if you didn't get the love earlier, but I was too busy pissed off. But like China also got a lot of pub before EDG won. So it was like perfect.
Building up,
that the West started to really pay attention. And then all of a sudden, boom, now you have a champion. And I thought that Pacific also, obviously, could have had a champion in Gen G. I think me and you agree that like they just, I mean, the most awful group imaginable going into last year. That was fucked, right?
Yeah.
They're in any other group, they're probably the 1 seed going into playoffs. And in playoffs, they were already like a monster. So, like, I mean, that's just fucking unlucky. And now it's marred with this, like, in a year where you had like unprecedented growth from the West or interest from the West, maybe not growth. Maybe growth is the incorrect word. Now it seems like they're going backwards. And for sure, they're going backwards on the competitive integrity part because I just think that's like a load of BS.
It's unfortunate, man. Honestly, this offseason was so good. You know what I mean? Like the build-up. It was the best we had. Like people were excited.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the tournaments were good too.
Yeah.
I think, man. I think
And then now all we can talk about is Tejo. That's all anyone's going to talk about.
Right. And now it's like, so imagine a team like DFM, which was on the rise, or Zeta, which got a core 3 from Fennel.
Right.
What if they make a run? Right.
Yeah.
What if it was off the merits of actually the growth in the building in the offseason?
Right. Right.
But now it's, wait, they're playing Tejo. Or
right. Yeah.
even if you play against a Tejo, if
Yeah.
you beat a Tejo, guess what? It's like, guys, they only had 2 weeks to prep this comp.
Yeah, you can cook it either way.
And that I think is the hard part about it all, is that the competitive integrity was thrown in the dumpster for, I think, a quote unquote proper release schedule. Oh, wait, we already killed the proper release argument. So then for what?
Oh well. Someone in chat was wondering, how are you guys looking in scrims?
Okay, I'll say this.
Yeah, how do you feel?
The strongest talent ever looked in scrims was at Champs.
Okay. Oh,
that's
okay.
what I'll say.
All right. All right.
Now, the benefit that I have is that I still have the same team.
Sure.
But when I tell you we were fucking dunking on everyone, God, it was insane work, bro.
So you guys are going to go further in this tournament then, since it didn't work out so well at Champions.
Oh,
there you go.
Fuck. I mean, I'll just say this. The expectation is that we should be strong.
Sure.
The problem has been we're fucking scrimmers, bro. Like,
yeah, okay.
We have a lot of young players. That's the fucked up part, is like, yeah, we have crews and shit, and like, everybody just makes fun of us. But like in reality, though, we have young players. So.
Yeah.
The moment isn't bright enough or big enough for us, yeah, I think people are cooked. Because like I said, when I tell you, bro, tournament favorites didn't matter. Bro, I'm talking 19-5s, 24s. Like, ooh. Bro, Band dropping 30 on Jet on a map, which I know you guys aren't going to see, but like on a world championship caliber team, he dropped like 35, just straight saucing him, just pop.
Dude, that guy looks so
crazy.
Different whenever he played Jet when he was on T1 too, right? Like he just goes on the Jet.
Yeah. He's nasty. And I have him on everything, right? But I was like, yo, we suck on this map. So that's a hint for everybody. Yo, we suck on this map. So why don't you just play Jet, bro? I just need you on Jet, bro. And he was like, all right. And we did it. And it was just like, oh my God, this is hilarious.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And then we didn't get to show a lot of those comps and a lot of the stuff we had prepped. Like
right.
even the JDG comp on Haven and stuff, which I think was going to be a nice surprise in playoffs if we made it. Because I think people would not have expected that.
Mm-hmm.
So like it didn't work out the way that we wanted. But the practice preparation was insane. I had never seen us play so well, so consistently.
Wow.
And then we had obviously leads in both series.
Yeah.
Like, or not like in maps, but like in those maps we were winning. And just, you know how it is. So.
Oh, it was heartbreaking, man. I really believed. I really believed.
Oh, I did too. Bro, I was telling people like, yo, we might actually win champs. Like, I'm not even trolling. And then to go 0-2 and now have this whole offseason where Baby Bay just cooks me every day is just like kind of fucked. Because like I am not living this down at all. So I don't want to like overstate how well we're playing.
Sure.
Because I think, we have a lot of expectations because of the whole, it's in Thailand thing. So I think,
right. The motivation and all that.
Right. So I know that we'll have even more nerves and more anxiety we'll have more anxiety for this tournament than we even did at Champs.
Sure, yeah.
And if we don't handle it better, I don't expect us to have a better outcome. But if we handle it better, I definitely am confident enough that we have a good chance, I think, to make it out, no matter who we run into. So it's just a matter of like figuring out that stuff. So I will say that, how Talon is looking at scrims is we are still not as strong as we were in Champs.
Okay.
I don't know if we'll ever get there because that was some shit, bro.
And that was like peak Talon, huh?
Bro, that was insanity, bro. Insane. And it wasn't just Primmy. Like the thing that I find funny now is like we're the Primmy show.
Right.
And I think that's cool. Like it's cool. But like, no, I'm telling you, Gov, 30. Cruise one map, 30, which you saw some of it in RQ.
Yeah.
During the RQ game, right? So like Ban, 30. Premi 30, Jit 25, Band 25, Gov 25. I'm like, bro, what is this? Like, now we're not a one-trick pony? Good, bro. It was just like, no.
Oh, unlucky.
That is fucking tough, bro. That tournament hurt so bad.
Yeah, dude.
By the way, it hurt so bad. You know, we practiced the whole month after.
Oh, really? You guys just kind of rage practiced afterwards?
We never. Oh, bro, I was pissed. We never stopped practicing. We actually kept scrimming all the way through champs for the champs teams, but also because we didn't give Primi enough reps with like some of the ideas that we had. So basically, like the base comps. So like there were comps that we were going to use that we just kept going with, but I decided to just run all base comps because obviously, you know, all our quote unquote chicks didn't work.
Sure.
So the whole off season was basically just trying to find him a role, and then
right. Yeah, I mean,
base comp, and it started because of that. It was like, well, if we're gonna practice here for a fucking month, we might as well just go back to running base comps and learn how to fucking play the goddamn game.
Yeah, back to basics. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how mad I was about that shit.
Damn.
Yeah, I didn't leave till September 1st, bro.
Jeez. Wow. I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, bro, we were so butthurt. So butthurt.
I mean, I understand because, man, even the group, right? I was like, oh, they can actually do it.
Just... Brother. We had it, bro. We just fucking goofed, bro. It's okay, though. I mean, it's just growing pains, young team.
Jit's really young, too, right?
Yeah, bro. Jit's like 19, bro.
Oh, dude, I always forget just because he was so solid.
Didn't Primi, the duo, I mean, if they continue to work hard and Talon does a good job with, I think, the long-term infrastructure, that pair can play together for the next 5 years.
Ooh.
Like, I think what PRX has is probably going to be impossible to do again.
Sure.
Because having 5 players together or 4 players technically together there for that long, I'm not sure that's going to happen again because that was like Australis-esque. Obviously, they didn't win, but still, though, that is an incredible job. I think there's a chance Talon can do it as well because Jit and Primi can play long enough together. Right? Long term, you'd have to build tie players around them that kind of fits, and you know. But yeah, I mean, they're fucking really young, so
yeah. Oh boy, can't wait, man.
Oh, I can wait. I actually do not want to play against Tejo, bro. I can wait. I can fucking wait.
Oh, one more thing that I actually had on my mind that I wanted to ask you while you're here is you think Tejo changes the set enough even if the map's not changed?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I agree too, but obviously everyone just like wants to see the map different because it's
so I call it carpet bomb, and that's not his ult. But yeah, I mean, this guy, yes, bro, it is so cooked, bro. It is so cooked, man.
I don't envy you. Can't say I do.
Forget me. I'm not playing. That's the beautiful part. I don't have to play against this shit, but these guys do. It's cooked. Like, the thing is, I'm not sure. Like, the thing that happens is really, 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 I think defense, CT sides are so much harder. And I think that is like a fundamental part of the game is that defense was already hard, and teams that had coordination, communication advantages, smart players, you know, had a really good chance to win games because, sure, a lot of maps are attack-sided. Some maps are attack-sided, and, like, you know, attacks are more grit and grind. So, like, if you have the skill, you could probably persevere. But on defense, it's like it was far more than just skill.
Right.
And that's where you saw, like, the Gen Gs and the G2s.
Yeah.
Kind of separate themselves from everybody else, including us, right?
Yeah.
But now it's like, oh, wait, you can't play defense here, or here just because you have Tejo plus a pair.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fucking, like, then it becomes, like, actually place your best aimers and just, like, go play ball. Because it's almost like you're kind of, in a sense, playing a ranked game.
Yeah.
Because, sure, you could prepare for Tejo, but it's basically just retakes and post plants. which the game was already, I think, heavily on that side. But the best, right? So if you think of like what Tex did to us on Ascent, he had like 2 really good, solid anchor rounds where he got multi-kills on our 5-man hits.
Right.
And then if you think of like Gen G and Munchkin or Meteor last year, and even Foxy 9, what he did in the offseason, like there are times where those guys can hold the fort down.
Yeah.
Yeah, go fucking luck with that, bro. Fuck you. You ain't holding shit. When you have fucking bombs over Baghdad, then you got flashes, then you got breach done. Yeah, all right, bro. Good fucking luck on Ascent, bro. That map is just too small.
Yeah.
Like the map is too small.
Yeah, no, that's true. You just have so much coverage.
Yeah, I think the worst map in the game that can add back given Tejo was Ascent. And what do you know? Riot somehow knows how to do it better than anybody and just fuck shit up. So, anyways, that's all me. I'm not going to get fired, but I will just say Ascent is the worst fucking map to bring back with Tejo. That is absolutely criminal what they did with that shit. That announcement was fucking criminal. So enjoy Breach Tejo, everyone, because that's exactly what might happen. Breach, yes,
Yeah.
Breach might be used.
Yeah,
on
Breach
that
coming
map.
back. Yeah, onto Ascent.
Crazy. Because how the fuck do you defend on that map now?
Oh boy.
Anyways, peace out.
All right, man. Thanks for hopping on.
Anytime, bro. Peace.
Chad, you gotta admit, love it or hate it, I totally agree that Frost is a very divisive person. I mean, I am oftentimes divided on Frost, but it is funny to listen to him. mostly because I don't think Frost, I mean, he admits sometimes that he gets his, like facts mixed up in memory and whatnot, but I think his arguments are usually logical. It's just sometimes they're either off of bad memory or he goes a little overboard. But it's always entertaining for sure. Oh man, yeah, he's very much a like, if it's logical, I'll say it type of person. Oh man, should have asked. Oh, I mean, I don't think you need to ask him for him to talk about that at any point. Anyway, yeah. So I think obviously the conversation with Soup, that's already all said and done from before. Frost coming on, like I was getting frustrated with chat as well. So Frost coming on and kind of organizing his thoughts, I think made it clearer for everyone. But I think the bottom line is if you just take a little bit of time to think, this might have been the only logical option in terms of economics. Whether it actually, but then the whole growth of the scene and investing back and all that, and then the actual technical performance of Soup and all of that is where the problem is. So I think I really, really encourage everyone to, I think having constant discussions about SEA challengers is good. I think this should be discussed, right? That's honestly the only thing a lot of us can do, right? I mean, even for me, like even I could hit up, like I could ask Jake for his time to talk to him, but like I can't change Riot, right? I don't work there, etc. But the most we can do is talk about it. So talk about it, good. But if you were in my chat, I better not see any of you. If you were ever part of this stream, I should not ever see you going around spitting just absolute nonsense about the Soup situation, right? Argue about it all you want, but just make sure you have your facts straight and make sure you're really critically thinking about, what is the issue or what are the issues and what can be done. Someone was asking, am I going to co-stream EMEA today? Today, no. Listen, I just can't do like every day. And I'm already behind. Like I have a video that I wanted to edit and have up this morning and I overslept. And so I'll have to work on that. And then I got to fix the Discord and everything before tomorrow and things like that. So tonight's unfortunately not. And yes, the real truth is I'm just not as interested in Giant X as I am about Apex. That's the real truth. So I'm not watching today's. I am actually really curious about KC and Navi. That one should be a banger. I might watch it on the side if I'm still up, but Frost was not calling Asia poor, guys. That's not what he was saying. I know why. I know it sounded like that, but that's not what he was saying. That's not what I was saying. So, yeah, but yeah, no watch party tonight. We'll just chat a little bit and then. Wait, what? Artists is. Why are you spreading? We just talked about not spreading rumors. What do you mean? Artist is not on Giant X unless he just got signed this morning. As someone from SEA who has followed esports throughout the year, I'm just happy if the TO is reliable and can give out the money to participants. Honestly, the bar's pretty low, chat. Really, like, it's you'd be surprised at how hard it is to find a TO that actually just runs the tournament, right? So, like, listen, the situation is rough. Dude, who keeps coming in with these random aliases in YouTube, man? I'm gonna start ignoring YouTube if you guys keep doing this. Someone keeps making random, just imitating random people. That's crazy. Good thing I don't have YouTube chat on stream. I'd get in trouble. Wait, I was under the rock. What's up with... I'll upload the video. I'm actually going to have to edit it now because we went on an absolute tear with Frost. So, like, I'm going to have to actually cut it, which is... but basically, it's not what happened with Soup. It's just it came to light because of Disguised leaving because they can't co-stream because Soup has exclusivity. But Soup's not actually paying Riot. They just have exclusivity, but they're also putting their money into running the actual tournament because they're a TO on top of being a media platform. No cuts, no edits. What? It's so long. Wait. Okay, first of all, if I did edit it, it would mostly just be my solo part, chat, not the Frost part. You guys don't want cuts? It's so long. YouTube. I don't dislike YouTube. I actually really like YouTube. YouTube's awesome. People will watch. Trust. All right. We got cuts of Spike Talk. This is compensation. Did you not watch Plant Shadow? Okay. All right. I mean, listen. I don't want to make cuts. I gotta edit another video. To teach all, not you guys, because most of you in my chat aren't that silly. But I have another video I was trying to edit last night and teaching people why Boom Esports just can't hold a candle to Nongshim. So, you know, I'm all for not making cuts. Let's see. Dude, what is going on YouTube? You guys are going crazy. But the grand final was close. It was only 0.0087 seconds. Yo, yeah, can we talk about that since we're just chatting today? Can we just talk about how insanely genius T1 is? Like, it's crazy. Here, also, someone asked me what's my opinion on Saya player. I think Saya's pretty goated, but I think he also needs to expand his, not just Asian pool, but like the way he plays. I think and maybe this is a chance to do it. I think he'll farm Challengers Japan though. But oh my gosh, my friggin' my zitter is going crazy. I just want to find the VCT Pacific post where we see Carpe Chat, I have 50,000 impressions on my post in the last 7 days on Twitter. I can guarantee you most of it is from that tweet about soup. That's crazy. But where is it? Here we go. Chat, the fact that they have a really popular guy, right, who is more or less media trained by this point, who knows what to say. He's getting basically built up to be a T1 guy, right? Like they have him front and center for everything. And I think he embodies it quite well. The fact that they have a guy like that who can just, that's his one job now, is to go do everything media while everyone else can just rest and scrim, is actually crazy. Like it's actually really genius. It's actually so smart. This is Ivy, by the way, the GOAT. You know, you all talk about, I mean, Persia's actually the GOAT, but Ivy's like vice GOAT. I know Francis, everyone's great on that roster, but like Ivy is actually, you got to watch out for Ivy. But oh yeah, that's true. Like yeah, he has the connections to T1 since the Overwatch days too. It's actually it's so smart, because you know players complain all the time about how much time they need to spend waiting and doing photo shoots and you know whatnot, and then media this, media that, and now like, dude, the fact that he was in the hype video, do you know how insane that is, Chad? You have players like Stax, Meteor, Buzz, and then you're putting this guy, which the fans love, the fans eat it up. But, like, that's just how powerful Carpe is, right? The fact that you can put him on there and no one's being like, dude, they didn't put in, like, Buzz or Stacks or Meteor or whatever. Like, no one even bats an eye. And then, meanwhile, everyone else can just practice because they probably shot that thing for, like, 6 hours, probably, no matter how short it is, right? With, you know, makeup and all of that. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, dude, someone call up Nade Shot. This is what Boostio needs. They need their own... Dude, they got to get freaking... Is Courage still partnered with 100 Thieves? They got to put Courage on the roster as a 6-man and then just have him go into all the media days. That's what they got to do. This is actually the future. This is actually the future. It's actually genius. The actor for sure. Shiro looks so awkward. No, Shiro just looks like he actually has goated posture is what it looks like. Look at Carpe's recent tweet. Carpe's still officially a 6-man. Yeah, he's still on the roster. What's Carpe? Well, no, that's... What the? Carpe, you gotta... And the fact that he's just a giant memer is just... Oh, man. That's crazy. It's crazy. Oh, yeah, he also tweets T1 dog, like, everywhere. Like, he's just a troll. But then he's media trained enough that they can trust him to just go do this. Probably with just like one staff member, right? Like it's actually so smart. It's really no, Carpe's like a giant troll. Carpe's a giant. I had to do that T1 like Samsung Odyssey event a couple of times with their Valorant team, where we just have like mini games and we stream, and we get to kind of hear from them about the team, and fans get to ask questions. Dude, the whole time Carpe's just trolling. That can't... Well, yeah, that was a response to the clip. We didn't watch the clip, but I mean... Yeah, it's actually so smart. It's actually so smart. I mean, it also just goes to show that I think T1's like really serious about winning. Paper X's trolling is also good. Paper X's trolling is also good, but like I think Carpe, the impact is that you don't see it coming unless you already know about him, right? Can we get a troll tier list? That's for the off season. We got to save content like that for the off season, chat. we don't want to use up all our ammunition, all right? We got plenty to talk about during. Yeah. Well, not so much. I mean, we didn't really talk specifically about DSGs. Like I said, we just talked about the soup situation and kind of clarified what the discussion should be rather than what it is currently. I appreciate the idea. Ideas are always welcome, chat. Is Crystal a top 3 initiator in Pacific? You know, I was thinking about this when we were doing the awards for Plat Chat. I think that's when I was doing it. And I think in a weird way, we don't actually have like goated initiators. Not as many, right? Envy obviously stands out. But like, who else are we sitting here being like, yo, this dude is like world class? Like, we have good initiators, but like we don't have a Riens, we don't have a Saucy. Right? So Devi, yeah, but I think I would rate Devi's value, I think, is higher as just the fact that he plays anything at an above average rate, right? I don't know. I don't know if I would rate Devi as a great initiator though. You know, it's the same thing with Forsaken. Like they do their job really well for the team, but it's, you know, like I'm not looking at them and being like, yo, that's who I want to pick as my Sova main. You know what I mean? Yeah, we don't have a Leo. Stacks is KO. I mean, yeah, we have a couple, like we have some decent flash initiators, but I think when people talk initiators in general, you first focus on info a bit more, right? Because flash initiators, I think, are a bit more of a flex slot. Yeah, I rate info higher if I only talk about initiators. See, Zest would have been an argument if he was still playing at the highest level. But show me when Crashy's diffed out. Dude, Crashy's, dude, I can't wait. I can't wait to watch Crashy's with Fnatic. I'm probably overhyping it, but I think it's going to be so good. I think it's going to be so good. Dude, you guys think poor Ja. Dude, I know he's a very divisive figure, but imagine being on an org that has to exit the league twice as Crazy Guy. Like, that's crazy. Did Zest I don't think he said he retired like long term, but I think he's taking a break for sure. No, I think Zest announced that he's just taking a break. I'm not sure. My long-standing take is that Crashies was the consistency pillar of why Optic could afford to have Vic and Marv taking such high variance lines. Oh, hard agree. Oh yeah, dude, Crashies is so good, actually. I mean, listen, Leo's goated. There's no doubt about that. But I think Leo's rise in the spotlight, like Leo was always good, but Leo's rise on Fnatic, like to everybody, and then the Optic team being broken apart, and as a whole the team not having the same success, I think overshadowed Crashies a bit. But I think Crashies is so good. I think Kush could become a pretty good initiator. I think Crystal could become a pretty good initiator. But the other thing is also Pacific, just generally the meta does not favor great info initiators, right? So there's an argument to be had there as well. Yeah, dude. 2022 Optic. Just imagine. Imagine talking about Pacific and not mentioning the Lakia. Listen, okay, but is anyone really going to argue that Lakia is a great initiator? I think he's a really solid team player. Okay. Well, Anders, you, you usually speak the truth. You can't just come in and troll me like that. Dude, Zeta. But Zeta was also a good flex, more or less. Dude, I used to really like his Harbor when he was on T1. Zeta's Harbor was actually really good. Yeah, Zeta's flex. Yeah, that's the other thing. We just have so many flex. But that's the funny thing is Zeta was originally a Sova main for sure. Like, he was the lineup guy. Art is pretty good. Okay, but is Art a good initiator, or is he just an amazing Odin player? Which I love the Odin, so all the respect, but when he was on T1, I think they had Van playing a little bit, but then he went back to playing Harbor a lot, I think. Can't remember. They shifted around a lot. Where are the other old Gen Gs? I know. Well, Goddead was trying to farm views by duoing with Ivy, I think. Nongshim Ivy. Goddead's also, dude, Goddead posts Instagram stories of him like working out with his personal trainer all the time. I think he's really trying to just get in better health. It's awesome to see. I don't think there's a single APAC initiator that I put in my global top 5. Yeah, exactly. Like, the only one that I'd have an argument for is Envy, but also them not making an international for so long. It's kind of hard to argue that, right? Because the playing field is so different. So, yeah, like, that's when I was like, huh, we don't actually have, like, great initiators. When I was doing the Plant Shadow Awards, I was like, oh, that's actually kind of crazy. 아, 오웬님 안녕하세요. 새해 복 많이 받으세요. 감사합니다. Hey, what's up, YouTube? I'm telling y'all, EMEA over NA over APAC for initiators. I mean, I think we could believe that. You think Vash or Envy will play Teho for Sneak Crit? If they play it, it should be Envy. If they play it, it should 100% be Envy. And I think Envy would be really good on it. I think Envy would be really good on Teho. Crystal's going to be the best initiator from Pacific alongside with Kush. I think within Pacific, I think they could definitely make a run for the charts. 100%. Both of them. If it isn't solely Recon, I'd always throw Stax' name in. I mean, like, yeah, listen. Listen, at certain times, RB was a better KO than Stax. You know, I'm just saying. Although he's looking very good these days, so. When agent bans become a thing, honestly, yeah. Dude, maybe that's when Pacific really shines. Crystal is a giant, so you can also intimidate his opponents. Envy wouldn't be the Teho. Oh, yeah. I wasn't thinking comps. I was thinking in isolation. Oh, yo, actually, that might not be good for them. Although, if you just ditch the Sentinel, Oreo could play the Teho. I think Oreo could play the Teho for sure. I don't think Vash is the Teho though. Like yeah, you can sit back and support from afar, yeah, but it's also like you just have to be so quick, and like I think Vash just has so much more value elsewise. So, one question I wanted to ask: do you think when we have a lot more maps later on, will Riot implement the CS system of picking up map bases based off voting? I don't think they would ever have it on vote. I don't think so. Riot is very meticulous about not actually giving the player base as much agency as you think you have. Now that makes it sound very evil. I'm not saying it's necessarily evil. It's just very curated. You're saying Vash is old and isn't quick. I'm saying Vash is calm, collected, and wise. Okay. Used to put Oreo on anything during my Oasis time. There we go. No, I could see that. I could see Oreo really picking up anything. Just it's the way you can start to tell if you really watch more games and more players. It's the way that player moves around like their utility and their opponent's utility, no matter what they're playing. And I could see Oreo picking up any agent for sure. So yeah, Envy, Breach, Oreo, Tejo makes sense. Just no Sentinel, or you could just have yeah, I mean, at that point, screw info. Don't go triple initiator. If you want to go triple initiator, sure, Sova for Vash, but Vash could just play Killjoy. He played Killjoy a couple times, and Cypher. He used to play Cypher. If you actually don't play Killjoy, but don't do that. But you could still play Cypher a little bit, I think. So you could do that. Yeah, don't play the Killjoy. That's a terrible idea, but. Yeah, the thing is chat, I hate to do this because I think this is the one team I do this a lot with. The one team I do this a lot with is honestly, it's always gonna come down to, dude, VLR, you gotta update your rosters here. But it comes down to Jeremy, man. And the thing is, he can be good. Like, you see him in his peaks. Jeremy's good, man. Jeremy's good. Who was it? I think on Binbon's podcast with the Korean players, like them doing like pick'ems and stuff for Pacific Kickoff, I think he asked Kutsiri, like from his experience on Ranked, like who's scary on this team, and he was like, dude, Jeremy is nasty. And it's like, I mean, we can see it when he's on, he's freaking on. But he mental booms a lot. He was even actively picking up the op again last year. Like, it was looking good, and then it's just every important match. Like, they gotta figure out a system for him to not boom. He's actually, I don't think he's even that inconsistent. I think he just mental booms, like in the important moment. Yo, you were running that? Hockey? Yeah, I remember that tournament. That was fun, man. The one with the agent bands? That was sick. Would you consider doing a watch party of VCT Pacific with Universe play? Dude, Universe has actually talked to me about this so many times, and I always said I'd be down, and I never actually sat down and made it happen. I should. Also, because back then I was like just starting off doing watch parties, so I wasn't really sure how to arrange it. And then now that I've done quite a few with Sliggy, like I feel pretty comfy. So I should reach out to him. That's a good point. That's messed up. I don't know why it's messed up, but that's messed up. Jeremy is like Doran from League of Legends. That's it's so true. It's so true. That's actually messed up, but it's true. I don't know who it's more messed up for, though. Is that more messed up for Doran, or is it more messed up for Jeremy? Do it with TMV inside. Dude, we'll do it with everyone, chat. Chat, we're going to watch party the heck out of VCT this year. And chat, you guys all need to tune into my watch parties, follow me on Twitch, subscribe to my YouTube, comment on all my videos, because we have a mission to try to get to the Pacific Finals in Tokyo as an official co-streamer. You guys got to help me out here. How sick would that be to co-stream from the arena with you guys? It'd be sick. That's my goal. Also, Jeremy gets mistaken a lot on rank as other pros. Yeah, no, like he's good. It's just like I want him to do better because I fully believe he is better. The Pacific Stage 2 finals in the summer. Yeah, Split 2 finals. If you make it, I'll find a way to get there and buy you scrambled eggs. I mean, try all you want. Try all you want. The scrambled eggs just ain't it, chat. I'm going to have some boiled eggs in my pocket nonstop. I'll offer you guys some good boiled eggs. Yeah. Pacific Finals in Tokyo, that should be sick, man. I don't, chat. I don't care what you say, man. It's scrambled is just not it. It's scrambled is fine. Scrambled is fine. Let's not get into this. This is a lost cause. Yeah, dude, a Japanese team. Dude, I mean, they can. Dude, this year, it's so stacked, man. It's so stacked. It's so stacked. Now, I think Zeta Division can do well, too. And also, chat, when I was... the video I'm working on right now with the whole Boom versus Nongshim comparison... Yeah, listen, like Nongshim, listen, they abuse the heck out of Neon, but like Donbe's good elsewhere too, man. I was like trying to look up VODs, and I'm looking at clips of him playing freaking Raze and Jet, and he's solid, man. I mean, he was like miles ahead of everyone on Neon, sure, but he's good, man. But I agree with Sliggy. There's a world where they bomb out. We haven't seen them in the off season. I mean. We've just never seen them play against a tier 1 team, right? We hear about these scrims. Yeah, I believe it. And I believe in the style they have. I favor it a lot, but... Does this mean VCT Pacific is transitioning? Well, okay. Probably not. Because here's the thing. Doing a finals and inviting teams and grabbing them hotels is one thing. Having teams having to apply for long-term visas and housing and all of that is that's a whole, and then having like a consistent broadcast and TO partner and all that is very, very different. Show what your pick'ems look like. Somebody didn't watch my pick'em video, but here it is. These are my pick'ems. Listen, the only one that I think really is copium is this one. Honestly. I think everything else is actually very, very logical. Maybe sharing. We're going back to the 2002 World Cup, guys. We're just, you know, these matches this week, the Friday and Saturday matches will be in Korea, and the Sunday and Monday matches will be in Japan. Teams just have to nonstop fly back and forth. That'd be hilarious. That'd be kind of sick, though, if you could make it happen. No, dude, more fans would be happy. That'd be kind of sick. I think Paper X isn't going to be great at integrating Tejo. I don't think they're going to be at the top either. Hold on, chat. Did I say that on my video? I think I did. I think they'll be fine with the... I think I put them on neutral. I probably should have put them on nerfed. But I don't think they'll be great. Oh, actually, no. I think I said they were buffed because... no, see... Yeah, okay. Because I kept going back and forth about them. I think I said that in the video. I kept going back and forth about them. There's that video. Good Nightbot, for once. But I think... no, I think Forsaken and Divide can... I think Forsaken can actually play a pretty mean Tejo at long range. And then lurk. Like, I think if Paper X plays Tejo, I think they're playing a lurking Tejo. What's my pick today? Who did I pick? Today's these matches. It's not Koi Team Liquid, right? It's these two. I had Giant X and Carmine Core. No, it's not. It's not Team Liquid. It's BBL and Giant X. The EMEA bracket is kind of weird. The scheduling. It's these two first. You have Paper X going out in 4th. Yeah, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. Now that we even know about the upcoming map changes, the map rotation chat, literally this is Paper X's last shot to win an international trophy. Okay? You can't take this away from them. They have the god roll on the map rotation, and then they're gonna lose it coming into split 1. They have to just full send. Right? Everyone's in chaos with the meta. I mean, if Paper X can't win this, like, I don't know, man. I don't know what to think. Ascent's coming back. Ascent's coming back. It's just a giant mess, man. It's who knows, man. They gotta do it. They gotta do it now. They gotta do it now. Well, chat, just so, I think a lot of people got confused because I also think just the way they announced it was weird. That map change is coming like 4 patches later or whatever. It's coming in like a month and a half, 2 months. We're all assuming that it's coming right in time for stage 1. Unless it was confirmed. But the current situation is just Tejo, current map pool that you're playing on ranked. That's true. Paper X can play Ascent normal comp now. That is true. Just in time for everybody else to play not normal comp, though, with Breach Tejo. Can you give me one reason to believe in RQ? Because I'm not actually as dumb as you guys often think I am. Sometimes I wonder if you guys all actually think I'm like really, really dumb. And it honestly makes me question what I've been doing with my life sometimes. Yeah, they said it would change in 10.04 or whatever. We just don't know exactly when that will be. Dude, that's actually a crazy thought, Satyr. Paper X has Jing playing Killjoy on Icebox? Well, maybe not Killjoy, though, with Tejo. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy that we have to say that now? That's so crazy, man. Dude, what do you even play on Icebox now? I haven't even thought about that. I was out when they announced the map changes. Wow, dude, you switched over to Twitch just to trash talk RRQ on stream? That's crazy. You think Riot is trying to steer Valo in who is more adaptable than depth to play? I'm gonna be very honest. I think I think the impact on esports is secondary. I really think so. I think it's mostly just how they want to shift things in ranked. It just so happens that that has the same impact on esports, but because like Frost said, I'm actually kind of down for the game constantly testing people on how to adapt, but like then just let people know when that's gonna happen, right? Like a surprise out of the box. I mean, yeah, you could argue it's how to adapt, but like we already have plenty of live adapting to do in the game because you don't know what your opponents are going to do 100%. So, you know, you don't have to have a surprise party every time. I mean, I agree. Like, you know, the teams that do well here, you really start to appreciate how they prep and what they do. But I'm just saying, I also strongly agree with the aspect of like, at least just give us a roadmap, right? Don't just suddenly throw it. I also just don't like the whole, I don't like it actually sucks to go to Masters. Like, that's such a terrible, terrible narrative to exist. You think there will be one team that will run Tejo in every map? No. No way. He's not that good on every map. And it's not like they have that much time to just drill that one agent the whole time. Chat, okay, how do you feel about this though, chat? Here's my question to you. Do you guys think Gen G's gonna play Tejo? I'm like actually convinced that they're not gonna play Tejo. Anders, do you think they're gonna, well, hold on, I meant in Pacific. You think there are gonna be multiple teams that play Tejo on every map? You think Gen G's gonna play Tejo? I have a feeling they're not gonna play a single game of Tejo. That's my hot take. Not a single game. It's going to be the neon thing all over again. No, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. The you know what's funny is a good band-aid to Gen G's current situation is to have Foxy 9 play Tejo and just ditch the Sentinel. But I don't think they'll do that. If I'm any of those teams, I'm sending a semi-standardized Tejo breach comp plus -1 agent on a few maps and shipping it. Yeah, but Anders, that's you thinking logically long term. I don't know. If it wasn't in Bangkok, I could see Talon doing that for sure. Yeah, no, but I see what you mean, though. I think that's more worth it. I agree with Anders that that's probably the better play. Isn't it Pacific and China that usually like to mess about on team comps when new agent is released? Pacific's used to be kind of split half and half. The Korean teams used to not do it at all. Obviously, things are different now, but... Yeah, there you go. The fan coffee pasta. My problem with RQ is that their IGL is not able to make the team play as a team. All I see Magnet and Jem Kinuja doing a lot of stuff. I mean, is that really? I mean, but we can't say what the I agree. I always say that their problem is a team identity, but I am not going to sit here and pretend like I know what the cause of that is. Right? Is it an IGL thing? Is it you need more coaching time? Is it the players just not listening? Are they having a mental boom? Is it a language thing? Like, it could be so many different things. But as I've come accustomed to say, RRQ is like an unluckier version of Talon. That's all I'm going to say. If you really think about it, they're just... And it's funny because I used to start to say this at the end of last season. And then in that Korean player preview that Bimbon did, when they talked about Talon, they were like, you know, Talon's like a better version of RRQ. And I was like, huh. Yep. No, see, that's where you're wrong. See, they get baited into playing like Paper X when they play Paper X, but they don't play like that elsewhere, which is why I say that they have an identity problem. No, not lucky as in, this is a saying in Korea. When they say unlucky, they just mean like a worse version. I don't mean that Talon's actually lucky. Do you think Paper X is going to get an analyst assistant coach if they don't do well on kickoff? I don't think it's going to matter based on their performance in kickoff. It's probably either already in the works or not at all. No, Bulb was no longer with the team after last year. They have a performance coach, but they don't have an assistant coach. They already have a performance coach. Is Wild Oreo's visa fixed? I believe so, because I think I saw him in the Jersey photo shoot. Although I don't know if that was back in the Philippines or that was with Soup. Yeah, a really good performance coach probably goes much further for Paper Rex. Oh boy. All right, chat. I gotta edit this video. I gotta fix my Discord. I gotta put up the calendar for my watch party. So I'm not watch partying tonight, chat. Bear with me. But we will watch party China tomorrow. We will watch party EMEA tomorrow. Or we will watch party Americas tomorrow. Tomorrow's gonna be crazy. I'm gonna turn British at this rate. It's gonna be crazy. Right? So we're gonna watch FPX versus Titan Esports. Then we're going to watch Billy versus XOG. I'm actually kind of excited for this match. And then we're going to watch Team Liquid, Koi, Apex Gentlemates. There is a world that I take a nap during this match. but we'll see. And then we're going to watch EG versus Loud. Dude, these two matches are pretty solid. Dude. Actually, these two matches are really good. EMA not worth it tomorrow? No, tomorrow we're mostly watching for Floor's debut. Or tomorrow we're watching for Floor's debut. Yeah, so I will. The goal is that I'll edit this video, upload it, then I'll make a Photoshop of my entire watch party calendar for kickoff, and I'll put that up on Discord and YouTube and Twitter. And then you'll know. But hey, you know how else you can find out, chat? Is if you just make sure that you turn on your notifications on both Twitch and YouTube, and then you'll know. That's what I was going to do at the start of the stream, was put in the Discord link into the commands. Oh, man. Let me find that. Unless Yissel has it on hand, but let me find it. That's actually so funny. Dude, how do we do this again? Dude, I always get confused. Invite people. I do have a permanent link somewhere. I just don't know where it went. And then every time you go in, it resets back to 7, so you have to make a new one. I'll fix it for sure. There you go. There you go. Say that YouTube might be better than Twitch. I mean, listen, for me, YouTube is better than Twitch. It is. Chat, as long as they just made the live a little bit easier. Look at the invite tab. What? Oh. Huh. Wait, why is Oh, why are you guys getting invited into weird? I don't know. How many teams will be removed from tier 1 after this year? At most 2. You can choose a yeah, I don't know why that changed. I don't think I ever changed that. There's a lot of things I gotta fix, chat. A lot of things I gotta fix. Oh, you're right. Oh, dude, 200 people have used my permanent what? That seems a little crazy. YouTube, do you need the Discord link? Here, let's see if I learned this correctly. So go to the invites tab. And then, wait, how do you... Oh, so that's just at the end. Oh, that's annoying. This is annoying. Wait, I can't put links in YouTube anyway. If you're on YouTube, you can go to my updates video, and then it's there in the description. There. Oh, I can put links in probably, actually. Chat, I'm showing my age, man. I can't keep up with all these different platforms, man. You guys gotta help me out here. This is insane. I'm also just tired, chat. Wait. Oh, Saya wasn't announced for reject? We just all based it off of the report? I just saw that they made the announcement. That's actually... I thought it was 100%. Wait, I have a question. Wait, well, you're praying for what to happen? Iwazaru Shima. Yeah, that's Shima. I did add a new bot. I just haven't given it perms yet. I don't know, chat, because apparently I bought... Back in the day, I bought Lifetime Pro for Mi 6, so I don't have to pay anything more to use it, but also it just seems like Mi 6 just isn't great anymore. So I'll probably just switch to Sapphire. Yeah, I went in and I was like, dude, and then I saw that I had Mi 6 Pro and I was like, what? I'm still paying for this? I was like, that's crazy. And then I went to cancel and I couldn't cancel it, and I was like, oh my gosh, they really are a terrible company. They won't let me cancel. And then I realized it's because I apparently just like bought the lifetime thing. But it was like, and then I looked at how much I bought it for. It was much cheaper then. But yeah, I see what they're doing now, and it's like, that's actually terrible. But I'm like, but I already paid for it, so like maybe it's, I don't know. Carl, chat, you can't keep throwing new bots at me. I haven't looked at Carlbot much. I looked at Dino a little bit, and then I looked at Sapphire, and it seemed like long-term Sapphire might be better. So I'm like pretty set on going with Sapphire. Anyone want to make an argument for why not to use Sapphire bot? If you can give me a reason not to use it, I will consider. But if you want to tell me just Dino, then I can't be bothered to switch. Wait, where, dude? I keep having to scroll back up. Okay, Lionheart's question. I have a question. What if SPG wins? Oh my gosh, this chat keeps resetting. Everyone be quiet for 5 seconds. If SPG wins a Master this year, but they don't make it to Champs, but Boom makes it, will SPG be kicked out? Huh. Yeah. Yeah. Well, they'd have to go to Ascension again. Well, I guess it depends if they made playoffs or not. If they didn't make playoffs, they'd have to go to... Or if they didn't make playoffs, they'd get kicked out. If they made playoffs, they'd have to go to Ascension again. Yeah. SEA pick'ems. I don't know. I don't know enough about all the teams. Obviously, I know the big ones, but I couldn't tell you. Also, can't I not do it? Because wait, no, it hasn't started yet. That was the dude. I'm kind of stoked that the Mongols are in though. That's kind of exciting. Yeah. Wait, can you even do pick'ems? It's groups. I can't do pick'ems. You guys can do pick'ems? I mean, they usually do, but I'm not seeing it. Dude, this is a lot of matches, man. Holy. That's a lot of matches. Because this is a split. Ah. All right. All right, chat. I'm running out of energy. I gotta listen. We gotta cut and upload me and Frost's yapping. I gotta edit this video to teach all the Reddit fools about why Boom Esports isn't ranked as high as Nongshim. I gotta fix my Discord. I gotta make a calendar. We got a lot to do. So yeah, Uncle needs his rest. Uncle needs his focus. So we're gonna hop off today. Sorry for no watch party tonight, but tomorrow we start the grind, and then we're going all the way, So hope you guys stick around. We got a bunch of new people following and subbing today, so appreciate it. Thank you so much. Well, it was Valorant. All we did was talk about Valorant. I think it was valid. And I will see you all tomorrow for the China watch party. That's what we'll start with. But, feel free to jump in whenever, depending on where you live. And, dude, it was 3.5 hours. That's crazy. Yeah. So that'll be it. Thanks for hanging out. Hopefully we clarified some things with Soup. Don't go around spreading misinformation, but still fight for what you believe in. Yeah, join the Discord. I'll start putting more announcements there. Trust me, it'll be cleared up. Now, here's the thing. I'm inclined to tinker with the forum function a lot. You might not like it, and that's okay. You can let me know, but I want to try to make that happen. So that's why I'm trying to figure out what the best way to balance that is. But just know that, and then we'll have benefits for like Twitch subs and YouTube members and all of that. So cool. Thanks a lot. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And I will see you all tomorrow for more Valorant with VCT China. Have a good one. I'm not posting that tier list anywhere because apparently the world is just crazy.